सुरक्षा और विकास की गारंटी मोदी जी की, तो उन्हें जिताने की गारंटी हम सब की।
कमल का बटन दबाएं, भाजपा को जिताएं।
मैं आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को नम्र अनुरोध करता हूं कि वो हमको संबोधित करें।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष श्रीमान जेपी नड्डा जी, राजनाथ सिंह जी, अमित भाई, निर्मला जी, भाजपा के अन्य वरिष्ठ पदाधिकारीगण, देश के कोने कोने में उपस्थित सभी भाजपा कार्यकर्ता, आज बहुत ही शुभ दिन है। देश के कई राज्यों में इस समय नववर्ष का उत्साह है। बंगाल में पोएला वैशाख का आनंद है। असम में बोहाग बिहू के साथ देश बैसाखी का जश्न भी मना रहा है। ओडिशा में पाना संक्रांति हो, केरल में विशु हो या फिर तमिलनाडु में नव वर्ष पुथांडु हो, सबको शुभकामनाओं का दौर चल रहा है। आज नवरात्रि के छठे दिन हम सभी मां कात्यायनी की पूजा करते हैं और मां कात्यायनी अपने दोनों भुजाओं में कमल धारण किए हुए हैं। ये संयोग भी बहुत बड़ा आशीर्वाद है। इनके सब के साथ सोने में सुहागा आज बाबा साहब आम्बेडकर की जयंती भी है। ऐसे पावन समय में आज भाजपा ने विकसित भारत के संकल्प पत्र को देश के सामने रखा है। मैं आप सभी को, सभी देशवासियों को बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। मैं राजनाथ जी और उनकी पूरी टीम को भी इस उत्तम मैनिफेस्टो तैयार करने के लिए उनका अभिनंदन करता हूं। मैं देश भर में से लाखों लोगों ने भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रति अप्रतिम विश्वास रखते हुए जो सुझाव भेजे, इस संकल्प पत्र को बनाने में सक्रिय भागीदारी निभाई, इसके लिए भी देश के लाखों ऐसे सक्रिय नागरिक, अभिनंदन के अधिकारी हैं, मैं उनका भी धन्यवाद करता हूं। साथियों, पूरे देश को भाजपा के संकल्प पत्र का बहुत इंतजार रहता है और इसका एक बड़ा कारण है। 10 वर्षों में भाजपा ने अपने संकल्प पत्र के हर बिंदु को गारंटी के रूप में जमीन पर उतारा है। भाजपा ने मैनिफेस्टो की सूचिता को फिर स्थापित किया है। ये संकल्प पत्र विकसित भारत के 4 मजबूत स्तंभ युवा शक्ति, नारी शक्ति, गरीब, किसान, इन सभी को सशक्त करता है। हमारा फोकस डिग्निटी ऑफ लाइफ उस पर है। हमारा फोकस क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ उस पर है। हमारा फोकस निवेश से नौकरी, निवेश से नौकरी पर भी है। इस संकल्प पत्र में क्वांटिटी ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज और क्वालिटी ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज दोनों पर बहुत जोर दिया गया है। एक तरफ हमने कई सारे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर निर्माण से बड़ी संख्या में रोजगार बनाने की बात की है। दूसरी तरफ हम स्टार्टअप और ग्लोबल सेंटर्स को बढ़ावा देकर हाई वैल्यू सर्विसेज पर भी ध्यान देने जा रहे हैं। भाजपा के संकल्प पत्र में युवा भारत की युवा आकांक्षाओं का प्रतिबिंब है। साथियों, भाजपा सरकार ने पिछले 10 वर्ष में 25 करोड़ लोगों को गरीबी से बाहर निकालकर हमने सिद्ध किया है कि हम परिणाम लाने के लिए काम करते हैं। लेकिन काम वहां रुकता नहीं है। जो लोग गरीबी से बाहर आए, इनको भी लंबे अरसे तक संबल की आवश्यकता है। नहीं तो कभी कभी एक छोटी सी कठिनाई भी फिर से उसको एक बार गरीबी में धकेल देती है। हम जानते हैं अस्पताल में मरीज का ऑपरेशन बढ़िया हो गया होगा, सारे पैरामीटर तबीयत के ठीक होंगे, फिर भी डॉक्टर कहते हैं कि जरा घर जाके महीना 2 महीना ये चीजें संभालना। ये उनके स्वास्थ्य के लिए कहते हैं। वैसे ही गरीबी से जो गरीबी बाहर निकल करके आया है, उसको भी कुछ समय के लिए बहुत संबल की आवश्यकता होती है, ताकि किसी भी कारण से वो गरीबी में वापिस जाने के लिए मजबूर न हो जाए। इसी सोच के साथ भाजपा ने गरीब कल्याण की कई योजनाओं के विस्तार का भी संकल्प किया है। मोदी की गारंटी है कि मुफ्त राशन की योजना आने वाले 5 साल तक जारी रहेगी। हम ये सुनिश्चित करेंगे कि गरीब के भोजन की थाली पोषण युक्त हो और उसके मन को संतोष देने वाली हो और एफोर्डेबल ही और सस्ती भी हो। यानी पेट भी भरे, मन भी भरे और जेब भी भरा रहे। मोदी की गारंटी है कि जन औषधि केंद्रों पर 80% डिस्काउंट के साथ सस्ती दवाएं मिलती रहेगी। इतना ही नहीं, इन दवाइयों के जन औषधि के केंद्रों का हम विस्तार भी करेंगे। मोदी की गारंटी है कि आयुष्मान भारत के तहत 5 लाख रुपए तक का मुफ्त इलाज मिलता रहेगा। मोदी की गारंटी के इसी क्रम में भाजपा ने एक बहुत बड़ा निर्णय लिया है। ये निर्णय 70 वर्ष की आयु से ऊपर के सभी बुजुर्गों से जुड़ा है। आज जो बुजुर्ग हैं उनकी बहुत बड़ी चिंता होती है कि बीमारी की स्थिति में इलाज का खर्च कैसे आएगी, और ये मध्यम वर्ग परिवार को ज्यादा होती है। अब भाजपा ने संकल्प लिया है कि 70 वर्ष की आयु से ऊपर के हर बुजुर्ग को आयुष्मान योजना के दायरे में लाया जाएगा। 70 साल के ऊपर के हर बुजुर्ग, चाहे वो गरीब हो, चाहे मध्यम वर्ग के हो, चाहे उच्च मध्यम वर्ग के हो, ये एक नया दायरा होगा जिनको 5 लाख रुपए तक के मुफ्त इलाज की सुविधा मिलेगी। साथियों, भाजपा सरकार ने गरीबों को 4 करोड़ पक्के घर बनाकर दिए हैं। अब जो अतिरिक्त जानकारियां राज्य सरकारों से मिल रही हैं, क्योंकि परिवारों के विस्तार होते हैं, एक घर से 2 घर बन जाते हैं और खुद नया घर बनाने की शक्यता संभावना नहीं होती है, तो उन परिवारों की भी चिंता करते हुए हम 3 करोड़ और घर बनाने का संकल्प लेकर के आगे बढ़ेंगे। अभी तक हमने सस्ते सिलेंडर घर घर पहुंचाए हैं। अब हम पाइप से सस्ती रसोई गैस घर घर पहुंचाने के लिए तेजी से काम करेंगे। हमने करोड़ों गरीब परिवारों को मुफ्त बिजली कनेक्शन दिए। अब हम करोड़ों परिवारों का बिजली बिल 0 करने और बिजली से कमाई के अवसर पैदा करने की दिशा में काम करेंगे। पीएम सूर्य घर मुफ्त बिजली योजना हमने लागू की है। 1 करोड़ लोग इस पर रजिस्ट्री करा चुके हैं अब तक। भाजपा का संकल्प है कि इस योजना पर और तेजी से काम किया जाएगा। घर में बिजली तो मुफ्त होगी ही होगी, अतिरिक्त बिजली बेच करके कमाई भी होगी। साथ साथ आज जो उसको स्कूटर, कार के पेट्रोल डीजल का खर्चा होता है, अगर वो इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल करता है तो उससे उसकी चार्जिंग व्यवस्था भी उसको मुफ्त में अवेलेबल हो जाएगी, यानी उसका ट्रांसपोर्टेशन भी मुफ्ती की तरफ जाएगा। साथियों, बीते वर्षों में करोड़ों लोगों को एंटरप्रेन्योर बनाने का काम मुद्रा योजना ने किया है। करोड़ों की संख्या में इस योजना से जॉब जनरेट हुए हैं। लाखों लोग जॉब क्रिएटर भी बने हैं। इस सफलता को देखते हुए अब भाजपा ने और एक संकल्प लिया है। अब तक मुद्रा योजना के तहत लोन की सीमा 10 लाख रुपए हुआ करती थी। अब भाजपा ने इसे बढ़ाकर 20 लाख रुपए करने का इरादा किया है और मुझे पक्का विश्वास है कि इंडस्ट्री 4.0 का जो युग है, उसमें जिस प्रकार के इकोसिस्टम की जरूरत है, छोटे उद्योगों की जरूरत है, ये इंडस्ट्री 4.0 के नेटवर्क को बढ़ाने के लिए ये नई ताकत के रूप में काम आएगा। इससे शहर हो या गांव, युवाओं को अपनी रुचि का काम करने के लिए और अधिक पैसे मिलेंगे। आजादी के बाद पहली बार रेहड़ी पटरी ठेले वाले हमारे भाई बहनों को डिग्निटी मिले, ब्याज के चक्कर से मुक्ति मिले। इसमें स्वनिधि योजना ने बहुत बड़ी भूमिका निभाई है। एक बहुत बड़ा रिवॉल्यूशन आया है, लेकिन अब तक ये बड़े शहरों तक सीमित था। आज रेहड़ी पटरी ठेले वाले मेरे भाई बहनों को बैंक में बिना गारंटी दिए मदद मिल रही है। मतलब मोदी उनकी गारंटी करता है। भाजपा इस योजना का भी 2 तरह से विस्तार करेगी। एक तो 50,000 रुपये का कर्ज की जो लिमिट है उसको बढ़ाया जाएगा, और दूसरा इसी योजना को देश के छोटे कस्बों और गांव देहात के भी रेहड़ी पटरी वालों के लिए खोल दिया जाएगा। साथियों, जिनको किसी ने नहीं पूछा उनको मोदी पूजता है, और यही सबका साथ सबका विकास का भाव है, और यही भाजपा के संकल्प पत्र की आत्मा है। 10 वर्षों में हमने दिव्यांगजनों के लिए अनेक सुविधाएं दी है। दिव्यांग साथियों को पीएम आवास योजना में प्राथमिकता दी जाएगी। उनकी विशेष जरूरतों के अनुसार उन्हें आवास मिल सके, उसके आर्किटेक्चर में बदल करना पड़ेगा, डिजाइन में बदल करना पड़ेगा। इसके लिए विशेष रूप से ध्यान देकर के काम किया जाएगा। ट्रांसजेंडर साथियों को भी पहले किसी ने नहीं पूछा। ऐसे साथियों को पहचान और प्रतिष्ठा देने का भी भाजपा ने ही प्रारंभ किया है। भाजपा ने ट्रांसजेंडर साथियों को भी अब आयुष्मान भारत योजना के दायरे में लाने का निर्णय लिया है। साथियों, भारत आज विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट में दुनिया को दिशा दिखा रहा है। पिछले 10 वर्ष नारी गरिमा, नारी को नए अवसरों को समर्पित रहे हैं। आने वाले 5 वर्ष नारी शक्ति की नई भागीदारी के होंगे। बीते 10 वर्ष में 10 करोड़ महिलाएं स्वयं सहायता समूह से जुड़ी हैं। 10 करोड़ बहनों के सहायता समूहों को अब हम आईटी, शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, रिटेल और टूरिज्म जैसी सेवाओं के लिए, जैसे होम स्टे वगैरह होता है, हम उनको ट्रेनिंग देंगे। अभी तक 1 करोड़ लखपति दीदियां बन चुकी हैं। अब मोदी ने 3 करोड़ बहनों को लखपति दीदी बनाने की गारंटी दी है। नमो ड्रोन दीदी योजना से गांव-गांव में बहनें ड्रोन पायलट बनेंगी। गांव की महिलाओं से जब मैं मिला तो मुझे कह रही थी, हम तो साइकिल भी चलाना नहीं जानते थे, गांव में हमें कोई पूछता नहीं था, आज हमारी पहचान पायलट की बन गई है। हम ड्रोन पायलट के नाते पूरे गांव में एक प्रतिष्ठा का स्थान प्राप्त हुआ है। सरकार जो ड्रोन दे रही है उसकी कीमत भी लाखों रुपयों में है, लेकिन मेरा अनुभव है हमारी माताएं बहनें उसको भी बहुत बढ़िया तरीके से संभालती हैं। टेक्नोलॉजी भी सीख रही है और इससे उनका सम्मान भी बढ़ा है, आगे भी बढ़ेगा, कमाई भी बढ़ेगी। इतना ही नहीं, एग्रीकल्चर में एक बहुत बड़ा रिवॉल्यूशन, टेक्नोलॉजी ड्रिवन एग्रीकल्चर को इसके एक धुरा के रूप में ये हमारी ड्रोन दीदी प्रस्थापित हो जाएगी, वो धुरा भी बनेगी। उसी प्रकार से महिला खिलाड़ियों को खेलों में आगे बढ़ने के लिए विशेष प्रोग्राम और विशेष सुविधाएं बनाई जाएगी। बहनों बेटियों के बेहतर स्वास्थ्य के अपने मिशन को आगे बढ़ाते हुए अब हम सर्वाइकल कैंसर से मुक्ति के लिए अभियान चलाएंगे। साथियों, हम गांव की पूरी अर्थव्यवस्था को संपूर्णता में देखते हैं, इसलिए खेती हो, पशुपालन हो, फिशरीज हो, सबको सशक्त कर रहे हैं। ये भाजपा ही है जो किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड के दायरे में हमारे पशुपालक भाई बहनों को, हमारे मछुआरे भाई बहनों को जोड़ा है। पीएम किसान सम्मान निधि का लाभ भी देश के 10 करोड़ किसानों को आगे भी जारी रहेगा। सहकारिता से समृद्धि के विजन पर चलते हुए भाजपा राष्ट्रीय सहकारिता नीति लेकर के आएगी और ये एक बहुत बड़े क्रांतिकारी दिशा में हम बढ़ने वाले हैं। देश भर में डेयरी सहकारी समितियों की संख्या भी बहुत बड़ी मात्रा में बढ़ाई जाएगी। कुछ महीने पहले ही दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी अन्न भंडारण योजना शुरू हो चुकी है। भारत को ग्लोबल न्यूट्रिशन हब बनाने के लिए हम श्री अन्न सुपरफूड पर बहुत अधिक बल देने वाले हैं। इससे श्री अन्न पैदा करने वाले 2 करोड़ से ज्यादा छोटे किसानों को विशेष लाभ होगा। हम दलहन और तिलहन में आत्मनिर्भरता के लिए किसानों को हर प्रकार की मदद करेंगे। भाजपा सब्जी उत्पादन और स्टोरेज के लिए नए क्लस्टर्स बनाएगी। फिशरीज सेक्टर के लिए भी नए प्रोडक्शन और प्रोसेसिंग क्लस्टर बनाए जाएंगे। हमारे मछली पालक साथियों को सीवीड की खेती और मोती की खेती के लिए भी प्रोत्साहन दिया जाएगा। धरती मां की रक्षा के लिए प्राकृतिक खेती, नेचुरल फार्मिंग, उस पर बल दिया जाएगा। भारत एक बहुत बड़ा रिवॉल्यूशनरी काम शुरू किया है और सफलता मिली है। नैनो यूरिया के ज्यादा से ज्यादा इस्तेमाल पर भी जोर दिया जाएगा। भाजपा ने किसान समृद्धि केंद्रों के विस्तार का भी संकल्प लिया है। भाजपा का संकल्प भारत को फूड प्रोसेसिंग हब बनाने का है। इससे वैल्यू एडिशन होगा, किसान का फायदा बढ़ेगा, रोजगार के नए अवसर भी बढ़ेंगे। ये फूड प्रोसेसिंग प्लांट्स रूरल इकोनॉमी के लिए नए ग्रोथ इंजन बनेंगे। साथियों, देश में जनजातीय समाज के योगदान को मान्यता देते हुए हमने जनजातीय गौरव दिवस मनाना तय किया है। अगले वर्ष 2025 में भगवान बिरसा मुंडा की 150वीं जन्म जयंती है। इसे राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर मनाया जाएगा। जनजातीय गौरव अभियान को राष्ट्र भर में गति दी जाएगी। भाजपा जनजातीय विरासत पर अनुसंधान को भी प्रोत्साहित करेगी। डिजिटल जनजातीय कला एकेडमी की भी स्थापना की जाएगी। वन उपज आधारित स्टार्टअप्स और स्वयं सहायता समूहों को भी बढ़ावा दिया जाएगा। 700 से ज्यादा एकलव्य स्कूलों के निर्माण के लक्ष्य को भी जल्द से जल्द प्राप्त किया जाएगा। साथियों, भाजपा विकास भी और विरासत भी उस मंत्र में विश्वास करती है। हम पूरी दुनिया में संत तिरुवल्लुवर कल्चरल सेंटर्स का निर्माण करेंगे। दुनिया की सबसे पुरानी भाषा तमिल, ये इस देश का गौरव है, हमारा गौरव है। तमिल भाषा की वैश्विक प्रतिष्ठा बढ़ाने के लिए भाजपा हर प्रकार के नए उपक्रम शुरू करेगी, प्रयास करेगी। हमारे देश में टूरिज्म का जो पोटेंशियल है उसे भी अनलॉक किया जाना बाकी है। भाजपा द्वारा विश्व प्रवासी ग्लोबल टूरिस्ट को हमारी विरासत से जोड़ा जाएगा और इस विरासत को हम वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज के साथ जोड़ेंगे। जैसे नालंदा हो, लोथल हो, होयसला के पवित्र मंदिर समूह हो, बौद्ध स्थल हो, जैसे अनेक स्थलों का विकास किया जाएगा। अभी एक ऑनलाइन कंपटीशन भी चल रहा है जिसमें देश के लोग टूरिज्म के डेस्टिनेशन की रैंकिंग कर रहे हैं। ये टूरिज्म डेस्टिनेशन की रैंकिंग जो हो रही है, इसके आधार पर अच्छे टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशन का जो पसंद लोग करेंगे, उनको सिलेक्ट करके उनके सर्वांगीण विकास के लिए, डेवलपमेंट के लिए और विदेशी टूरिस्टों को भी आकर्षित करे उस रूप में लाने की दिशा में हमारा काम आगे हमने सोचा हुआ है। टूरिज्म वो सेक्टर है जो सबसे कम निवेश में सबसे ज्यादा रोजगार पैदा करता है। टूरिज्म बढ़ता है तो होटल, रेस्टोरेंट, ऑटो रिक्शा वाले, टैक्सी वाले सभी को इससे फायदा होता है। भाजपा इको टूरिज्म के नए सेंटर्स भी बनाएगी। इससे होम स्टे के जो अवसर बनेंगे उसका लाभ हमारे ट्राइबल परिवारों को होगा। भाजपा सरकार होम स्टे के लिए महिलाओं को विशेष रूप से आर्थिक मदद देने की योजना बनाकर आएगी। साथियों, 21वीं सदी के भारत की बुनियाद भाजपा 3 तरह के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर से मजबूत करने जा रही है। पहला है सोशल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, दूसरा है डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, तीसरा है फिजिकल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर। सोशल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए हम नए नए एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट खोल रहे हैं, यूनिवर्सिटीज बनवा रहे हैं, मेडिकल कॉलेज बनवा रहे हैं, आयुष्मान आरोग्य मंदिर गांवों में बना रहे हैं। इतना ही नहीं, हमारे जो विशेषकर ट्रक ड्राइवर्स हैं, उनके लिए हम हाईवेज के पास उनको सफिशिएंट रेस्ट मिले, एक्सीडेंट कम हो, इसके लिए बहुत बड़े इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलप करने जा रहे हैं, ताकि ड्राइवर सफर के दरमियान हाईवे पर जो समय उसको स्नान के लिए चाहिए, अन्य सुविधा के लिए चाहिए, रेस्ट करना हो तो उसको मिले। तो ऐसे बारीक बारीक अनेक क्षेत्रों को ढूंढ करके हम सोशल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर बल दे रहे हैं। दूसरा है फिजिकल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर। इसलिए हम देश भर में हाईवे, रेलवे, एयरवे, वाटरवे उनको आधुनिक बना रहे हैं। तीसरा है डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, और इसलिए हम 5G विस्तार कर रहे हैं, 6G पर काम कर रहे हैं, और इंडस्ट्री 4.0 के लिए डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ये उसकी बैकबोन होती है। हम इंडस्ट्री 4.0 को ध्यान में रखते हुए हमारे डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को तैयार कर रहे हैं। हम सरकार की ज्यादा से ज्यादा सेवाओं को ऑनलाइन बना रहे हैं, कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर्स की संख्या बढ़ा रहे हैं, ONDC ऑनलाइन जो लोग खरीदी करते हैं उसके लिए एक प्लेटफॉर्म ONDC और टेलीमेडिसिन का विस्तार कर रहे हैं। इन तीनों तरह के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, सोशल, फिजिकल और डिजिटल इंफ्रा का मजबूती से विस्तार भाजपा की एक प्रमुख, एक प्रकार से पुरानी सोच से अलग, गति भी तेज होगी, स्केल भी बहुत बड़ा होगा, यानी स्केल और स्पीड इतना बढ़ेगा कि उससे स्कोप भी बढ़ जाएगा। ये भाजपा की सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकताओं में से है। हमारे देश में अर्बनाइजेशन को, शहरीकरण को पहले की सरकारें चुनौती माना करती थी, भाजपा उसे अवसर के रूप में देखती है। हम देश में नए नए सैटेलाइट टाउन्स बनाएंगे जो देश के विकास का ग्रोथ सेंटर बनेंगे, रोजगार के नए अवसर बनाएंगे। देश के एविएशन सेक्टर के विस्तार पर भी भाजपा का जोर है। अभी देश ने, आपको पता होगा, करीब 1000 से ज्यादा नए विमान का ऑर्डर दिया हुआ है भारत ने। वो अपने साथ एम्प्लॉयमेंट की बहुत सारी नई संभावनाएं लेकर आएंगे। पायलट, एयरलाइन क्रू, ग्राउंड स्टाफ, इससे जुड़ा लॉजिस्टिक, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, ऐसे अनेक सेक्टर में नए अवसर क्रिएट किए होंगे। ये सेक्टर देश के छोटे शहरों में रहने वाले युवाओं के लिए भी ड्रीम सेंटर बनने जा रहे हैं। साथियों, भाजपा देश के कोने कोने में वंदे भारत ट्रेनों का भी विस्तार करेगी। देश में वंदे भारत के 3 मॉडल चला करेंगे। वंदे भारत स्लीपर, वंदे भारत चेयर कार और वंदे भारत मेट्रो। इस 3 प्रकार से हम इसको करेंगे। उसी प्रकार से एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण कदम हम उठाने जा रहे हैं आधुनिक भारत की और विकसित भारत की दिशा में जाने के लिए। आज अहमदाबाद मुंबई बुलेट ट्रेन का काम जोरों से चल रहा है और करीब करीब पूर्णता पर पहुंच रहे हैं। उसी प्रकार से बुलेट ट्रेन आज जैसे पश्चिम हिस्से में एक बुलेट ट्रेन काम करने जा रही है, अब भाजपा का संकल्प है आने वाले समय में उत्तर भारत में एक बुलेट ट्रेन, दक्षिण भारत में एक बुलेट ट्रेन और पूर्वी भारत में एक बुलेट ट्रेन, वैसे उत्तर, दक्षिण, पूर्व, पश्चिम चारों दिशाओं में एक एक बुलेट ट्रेन के प्रोजेक्ट से हम आधुनिकता की तरफ जाने को गति देंगे। इसके लिए सर्वे का काम भी जल्द शुरू किया जाएगा। साथियों, भाजपा का संकल्प पत्र देश को आत्मनिर्भरता की तरफ ले जाने वाला है। डिफेंस सेक्टर हो, एडिबल ऑयल हो, एनर्जी इंपोर्ट हो, भारत कब तक दूसरे देशों पर निर्भर रहेगा? आज हम एनर्जी को इंपोर्ट करने के लिए लाखों करोड़ रुपए का फॉरेन एक्सचेंज खर्च करते हैं। इसलिए भाजपा का बहुत बड़ा फोकस ग्रीन एनर्जी और एनर्जी में आत्मनिर्भरता पर है। इसलिए पेट्रोल में इथेनॉल की ब्लेंडिंग हो, ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन हो, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी हो, गोवर्धन हो, बायोफ्यूल हो, सभी क्षेत्रों में और अधिक तेजी लाई जाएगी। ये हमें आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के साथ ही पर्यावरण की दृष्टि से भी देश को सुरक्षा प्रदान करेगा। इससे देश में बड़ी संख्या में ग्रीन जॉब्स पैदा होंगे, हरित रोजगार बहुत विस्तार होने वाला है। आज हम देख रहे हैं कि देश में इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल का मार्केट कितनी तेजी से बढ़ रहा है। 10 साल पहले एक साल में सिर्फ 2000 इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल बिके थे। एक साल में 2000, जबकि पिछले ही साल 17 लाख से ज्यादा इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल बिके हैं। पूरे देश में चार्जिंग स्टेशंस हो और जरूरी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनाए जा रहे हैं और ई व्हीकल का इतना बढ़ाव होने वाला है, तो मैंने घर में भी जैसे पीएम सूर्य घर से जोड़ करके घर में भी चार्जिंग स्टेशन और मुफ्त में ट्रैवलिंग, उस दिशा में भी हम बढ़ रहे हैं। इससे उभरते हुए सेक्टर से भी देश में रोजगार की अनेक नई संभावनाएं बनने जा रही हैं। साथियों, भाजपा का संकल्प भारत को दुनिया के हर उभरते हुए सेक्टर्स का ग्लोबल हब बनाने का है। वो समय दूर नहीं जब भारत दुनिया का ग्रीन एनर्जी हब होगा, फार्मा हब होगा, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक हब होगा, ऑटोमोबाइल हब होगा, सेमीकंडक्टर हब होगा, इनोवेशन हब होगा, लीगल इंश्योरेंस हब होगा, कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग कॉमर्शियल हब होगा। वो दिन दूर नहीं जब दुनिया के बड़े बड़े इकोनॉमी सेंटर्स भारत में होंगे। भारत ग्लोबल कैपेबिलिटी सेंटर्स, ग्लोबल टेक्नोलॉजी सेंटर्स, ग्लोबल इंजीनियरिंग सेंटर्स का बहुत बड़ा हब बनेगा। स्पेस में भी हम एक बहुत बड़ी ताकत के रूप में, विश्व में बहुत बड़ी ताकत के रूप में उभरेंगे और उसके लिए निश्चित रोड मैप से हम आगे बढ़ेंगे। और ये भारत के यूथ के लिए इतनी सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज लेकर आएगा जिसकी उन्होंने शायद कल्पना भी नहीं की होगी। साथियों, आज विश्व में अनिश्चितता के बादल छाए हुए हैं। युद्ध की स्थिति बनी हुई है, तनावपूर्ण है पूरा विश्व। संकट के ऐसे समय में इन क्षेत्रों में रह रहे भारतीयों की सुरक्षा ये हमारी प्राथमिकता है। और जब दुनिया में इतना प्रकार के भांति भांति प्रकार के तनाव चलते हो, तूफान चलते हो, तब ऐसे समय में भारत में एक मजबूत पूर्ण बहुमत वाली स्थिर सरकार की आवश्यकता अनेक गुना बढ़ जाती है। ऐसी सरकार जो देश को आर्थिक रूप से भी समृद्ध बनाए, ऐसी सरकार जो देश को विकसित भारत की तरफ तेज गति से ले जाए, और भाजपा इसके लिए संकल्पबद्ध है। आज आपने देखा है कि भाजपा का ये संकल्प पत्र, भाजपा का ये मैनिफेस्टो ऐसी ही एक सरकार की गारंटी देता है। भारत विश्व बंधु के तौर पर मानवता के कल्याण के लिए निरंतर प्रयासरत रहेगा। साथियों, भारतीय जनता पार्टी देश हित में बड़े और कड़े निर्णय लेने से कभी पीछे नहीं हटती। हमारे लिए दल से बड़ा देश है। नारी शक्ति वंदन अधिनियम अब कानून बन चुका है। बीजेपी ने आर्टिकल 370 को हटाया और हम CAA लेकर आए। रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म, ट्रांसफॉर्म के मंत्र पर चलते हुए हम और तेजी से आगे बढ़ेंगे। गुड गवर्नेंस, डिजिटल गवर्नेंस और डेटा गवर्नेंस के लिए देश में आवश्यक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और इकोसिस्टम तैयार किए जाएंगे। हम वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन के विचार को भी साकार करने का संकल्प लेकर के आगे बढ़ेंगे। बीजेपी यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड को भी देश हित में उतना ही आवश्यक समझती है। आपने देखा है कि पिछले 10 साल में भ्रष्टाचार पर भाजपा सरकार ने कितनी बड़ी कड़ी कार्रवाई की है। भ्रष्टाचार गरीब का हक छीनता है, मध्यम वर्ग का हक छीनता है। राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर होने वाले हजारों करोड़ के घोटाले अब बंद हुए हैं। अब गरीब को उसका हक मिल रहा है और गरीब को लूटने वाले जेल जा रहे हैं। भ्रष्टाचारियों पर ऐसे ही निरंतर सख्त कार्रवाई होती रहेगी, ये मोदी की गारंटी है। साथियों, मैंने लाल किले से कहा था कि यही समय है, सही समय है। आने वाले 1000 वर्षों के लिए भारत के भविष्य को तय करने वाला ये उत्तम से उत्तम अवसर है, उत्तम से उत्तम समय है। भाजपा के संकल्प पत्र पर 4 जून के नतीजे के बाद तुरंत तेजी से काम शुरू हो जाएगा। सरकार पहले ही 100 दिन के एक्शन प्लान पर काम करना प्रारंभ कर दिया है। देश के लोगों का एम्बिशन, देश के 140 करोड़ वासियों का अपना एम्बिशन, ये मोदी का मिशन है। अभी हमने चंद्रयान की सफलता देखी, अब हम गगनयान का गौरव अनुभव करेंगे। अभी हमने G20 में दुनिया का भारत में स्वागत देखा, अब हम ओलंपिक्स की मेजबानी के लिए पूरी ताकत लगाने वाले। ये नया भारत रफ्तार पकड़ चुका है, अब इसको रोकना असंभव है। इसलिए इस संकल्प पत्र को मोदी की गारंटी के रूप में देशवासियों के समक्ष आशीर्वाद के लिए रख रहा हूं। 144 करोड़ देशवासियों के सपनों को हकीकत में बुनने के लिए हम ये संकल्प पत्र लेकर के आए हैं। मैं देशवासियों से प्रार्थना करता हूं कि मां भारती के कोटि कोटि जनों के कल्याण के लिए, विकसित भारत के सपने को सिद्ध करने के लिए, इस संकल्प पत्र को लागू करने के लिए, तेज गति से आगे बढ़ाने के लिए हमें आशीर्वाद दे, हमारी शक्ति और बढ़ाए। इसी एक प्रार्थना के साथ देशवासियों का अभिनंदन करते हुए मैं मेरी वाणी को विराम देता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री, सभी मान्यवर, आप सबका धन्यवाद। कार्यक्रम यहीं समाप्त होता है। सभी पत्रकार साथियों को अनुरोध है।
All right. Prime Minister there addressing that press conference for the release of BJP's manifesto, the Sankalp Patra. This is the new India and you can't stop this new India. Prime Minister's pitch that the government would start working from day one for a Viksit Bharat agenda. You have seen Chandrayaan, you would see Gaganyaan, you have seen India organizing the World Cup, you would see India organizing the Olympics. You are seeing bullet train taking shape in one part of India between Ahmedabad and Mumbai. You would see bullet trains coming up in north, south, east as well. You would see other projects taking shape. Prime Minister there upping the ante on Modi ki guarantee, saying this is guarantee that Modi ki guarantee would be delivered. Prime Minister, while releasing the BJP manifesto, also talking about what has been delivered over the last 10 years. Essentially what we saw was Modi guarantee getting coupled with Modi scale. So you are seeing, for example, schemes which have already delivered being scaled up in terms of numbers. So for 4 crore PMAY houses delivered, 3 crore more to be added. Ayushman Bharat till now covering those only in the poverty line category, but now senior citizens above 70 years to be covered across the country without any economic criteria. Scaling up schemes in terms of increasing their reach, increasing their limits, increasing their allocations is what we are seeing in this BJP manifesto release. In the pictures from the party headquarters, we continue to get leaders still there. Prime Minister, while leaving, talking to Party President JP Nadda, Home Minister Amit Shah, and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. In the studio, I am joined in by Karan Verma, political analyst, leans towards the BJP, and Nikhil Jain, political analyst, advocate, leans towards the Congress party. And while we continue to get those pictures from the BJP headquarters, On the stage, we had, apart from Prime Minister Modi, President JP Nadda of the party, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who was, of course, the chief of the Manifesto committee. We also had Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. She happens to be the convener of the Manifesto committee. Earlier, before Prime Minister Rajnath Singh spoke about how they went about writing the manifesto. Let's try to understand how the manifesto is going to be received. Let's get a glimpse of it from our studios with Nikhil Jain joining us, giving us a Congress view. First, quick reaction, Nikhil. We'll go into the detail later, but what do you make out of it?
Finally, I think the Prime Minister has learned that social welfare is not bravery for the people. When Arvind Kejriwal and the Congress party in various states promised free electricity, the BJP and especially the Prime Minister went around the country beating his chest, "Kiye to revadi hai, revadi hai, revadi hai." Today, he's promising free electricity to the people of the country, and I think that's a very positive change. What the Congress has managed to do is bring the election towards a point where issues are being talked about, where...
Nikhil, there seems to be some audio issue there. We are just fixing it. And do we have Karan's audio? Then we can get a quick reaction and then we go to the ground. Do we have reporters there on the ground? Okay, let me take a quick short break, fix everything and then come back. Quick short break.
In just a decade, India has transformed into a digital powerhouse. From classrooms to clinics, farms to finance, digitalization is revolutionizing every aspect of life. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Award.
Elections. Platform is accused of match.
All right, welcome back, friends. In the studios with me, Nikhil Jain, to give us a view of the opposition and the Congress party. And to speak for the BJP, we have both Karan Verma, a political analyst, and senior lawyer Deshratan Nigam. So, Nikhil, I would let you complete from where we left. There was some audio issue. Your first reaction to the BJP manifesto, Modi ki guarantee and guarantee of guarantee.
Abhishek, so I think the Congress has managed to get this election on the right foot, that now issues are being talked about, social welfare is being talked about, and the same Prime Minister who until a couple of months ago was just chest thumping across the country कि free electricity देना रेवड़ी है, कांग्रेस और आम आदमी पार्टी रेवड़ियां बांटते हैं, आज वो खुद ही आके free electricity दे रहे हैं. This is the level of hypocrisy. And मोदी की गारंटी, कर्नाटका इलेक्शन में 5 गारंटी the Congress started it.
Comparing the free electricity of Prime Minister Modi's promise with what Aam Aadmi Party delivers?
What Aam Aadmi Party as well as the Congress delivers. As well as the Congress delivered.
Now, this is a man with a vision and plan. He said this in Guwahati, Abhishek, that I am going to ensure that rooftop solar panels are there.
Which is Revdi.
And there is an entire ecosystem is built for it arduously over the last 10 years. Even before that in Gujarat, where we have the largest solar plant in Asia.
Adani's.
So this is what he's up to. You know, he's come up with a plan and he's even connected it with discoms. He said whichever extra units are used, that will be transported back to discoms.
He's making a specific chart that you have agreed on Revdis now, because free electricity is a Revdi according.
Yes, this is empowering people through an ecosystem.
No.
This is not a burden on the state exchequer. Sorry, Nikhil. When there is a burden on the state exchequer, where just to appease, that is not what's happened here.
Karan, free electricity.
Hold on, I'm moderating. You say it's free Revdi, and the BJP also accepted that. His response is, no, this is not free Revdi. There is proper allocation, and this is not a burden on exchequer. Your response?
No, where is the solar panels that will be installed on rooftops going to come from? BJP's electoral bond money or from the exchequer money? Of course, this is Revdi. If you call it a Revdi, I call it a social welfare measure. I say it is very good that the Prime Minister is offering free electricity.
It is a social welfare measure which makes fiscal sense.
How does it make fiscal sense?
Because there is no subsidy being given.
What is the cost
where there is a cost on the exchequer.
Solar panel.
One second, will you hear me? When you install a rooftop solar panel, then you are creating electricity. You are harnessing solar energy. This is a productive move at multiple fronts. It is good for climate change also, and it is good for
how much does a solar panel cost?
Hold on,
how much does a rooftop solar panel cost? Please tell me.
Okay.
It doesn't cost as much as producing electricity.
Okay. No. Okay. So the first reaction from the Congress party is that while the BJP is also seemed to be agreeing with free Revdis, it's a welcome step. Deshratan Nigam, you would have heard the Prime Minister speak for almost an hour, and before that, BJP Manifesto Committee Chief Rajnath Singh and Party President JP Nadda. Did you get a sense that this is a party which is so confident of coming back to power that it is talking about consolidating the schemes that it has already delivered on, and that it seems like a party which is confident not just of the next 5 years, but of having a role in India beyond that period as well?
One thing, let me make it very clear, that once you only read the headline and you do not read further down, then you come to a wrong conclusion that it's a Revdi. There is a difference between a Revdi and targeted approach to subsidies and a targeted growth. It is not being distributed left, right and center to everybody. One, people will opt for it. It is optional. One. Secondly, let me tell you, they generate electricity and they'll be able to generate revenue for themselves. And that is the approach it should be. It's called empowerment. It is not called Revdi. Understand that. And as a lawyer, I think Nikhil Jain understands, if you only read the head notes of a judgment, you don't read the right conclusion. You've got to read the entire judgment. And therefore, let us be very clear on certain things. BJP is confident about its approach because it is known for delivery, the last mile delivery to the people. And the delivery system, the direct benefit transfers has actually empowered people. The houses given to the poor, the rural roads which are there, the maternity benefits that are being given, the Lakpati Didis and crores of being made and enhanced also. The speed and scale, which was already quite good, is being enhanced further. So you got to realize that the BJP's first has made a base, consolidated upon it, and then increasing its speed and scale further. So you will find the concept of a bullet train starting from Ahmedabad to Mumbai, reaching the other corners of the country, the dedicated freight corridors that you have that, curtails the time limits of supply of perishable goods and non-perishable goods. These are the things which actually enhance and increasing the electricity production, whether it is airport, whether it is the modernization of the railway tracks, whether it is the railway stations or the road infrastructure that you have. I meet tremendous amount of people who say earlier we used to reach our places in 12 hours, now we reach in 3 hours. You save time, money and effort. So this all translates into votes. This is what BJP has understood. The opposition parties are disconnected with people. They only think that if you throw everything at the people, then they get votes.
Okay,
they haven't been getting votes.
Karan,
so please understand.
Fair enough. Opposition, you say the opposition is a little disconnected from the ground. That's why perhaps they might not see anything in this. But Karan Verma, what's new in this? Tell me. I mean, I can see a lot of scaling up of ambition on each of the projects and schemes that the Modi government has delivered over the last 10 years. There is a lot of incrementalism and sure-footedness, but what's new in this?
It is a manifesto, a roadmap for an aspirational India. Now we've given permissions to 3 semiconductor labs in Gujarat. And Mr. Modi spoke about how in the future this is going to be a game changer. He's talked about upping up manufacturing. This year, Abhishek, 1 lakh crore worth iPhones produced in India. This is a game changer, and he's going to make giant strides in this field. He's talked about from Virasat to Vikas. Today, the temple economy, my friend Nikhil and all these people, they mock the fact that, do temples give jobs? Today, the temple economy is worth 3 lakh crores. In just the last 1 month, 50,000 crore worth trade happened just in Ayodhya.
Okay.
So this is the roadmap of Mr. Modi.
This is again, you are right. Okay, fair enough. So what you're saying is that this is incrementalism, consolidation, addressing aspirations. Would you agree with that? Nikhil, also Deshartan Nigam said that you are not connected with the ground.
How is the Congress not connected with the ground when they realize the biggest problem in the country right now, unemployment? Survey after survey across the political spectrum has reflected that unemployment is the biggest problem for the youth of the country, and the Congress has a solid program for that, the apprenticeship program. This is not a manifesto for an aspirational India. This is a manifesto to make a delusional India. This government has not been able to start a single bullet train, and now they're talking about bullet train from north to south, east to west. Karan is talking about विरासत से विकास. सारे विरासत वाले तो आप अपने पास इकट्ठे कर रहे हैं. जयंत चौधरी कौन है वो? कर्नाटका के आपके बीजेपी प्रेसिडेंट कौन है? कर्नाटका के आपके लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन कौन है? कर्नाटका में सांसद की टिकट किसको मिल रही है? सारी की सारी पॉलिटिकल डायनेस्टीज इन दिस कंट्री आर बीइंग पोस्ड फ्रॉम द कांग्रेस टू अदर पार्टीज टू द बीजेपी. No, I am on the topic of economy that during the Congress era 2004 to 14 the GDP per capita of this country increased by 2.68 times. However, during the 10 years of this government only 1.82 times. 37%.
Inflation was double digit for 24 months. Just so you know, you did not have catastrophes like the one in COVID and Russia. Ukraine.
दाल का प्राइस क्या है?
Bring your facts in perspective.
अच्छा, global
right now, just this
2008 का global
GST collection second highest ever. For forex reserves $650 billion. Unemployment periodic labor survey 3.1%. Lowest in the last 6 years.
Abhishek,
ये पता नहीं किस दुनिया में.
the forex reserve one very important point. 2004 $113 billion forex reserve. 2014 अरे बाबा
inflation.
He won't let me complete यार. अभी तो बोलने दो यार पक्ष को. आप अभी भाजपा ज्वाइन नहीं करो, कहीं बोलने दो. 2004 forex reserves in this country $113 billion. 2014 $303 billion. Right now $600 billion. 3 times increase during the Congress, 2 times increase during the BJP. Every single parameter.
There is something called base effect. Okay, fine.
How is that a base effect?
You don't increase at that much pace once you've grown big. Can US have the same GDP growth as us today?
No.
Can US have the same GDP growth as us today?
Okay, fair enough. I'm getting some political reactions. Let's cut to them. Let's get political reactions to the BJP Sankalp Patra, and then I come back to the studio.
ये भी बताता है जहां प्रधानमंत्री जी ने मुद्रा योजना को 20 लाख रुपए किया, उससे देश के छोटे दुकानदारों को बड़ा लाभ मिलेगा. रेडी पटरी वालों की जो स्वनिधि योजना है उसको गांव देहात तक ले जाएंगे, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है. और लखपति दीदी 3 करोड़ तक आगे बढ़ाई जाएगी. तो कुल मिलाकर के ये देखें तो आर्थिक विकास के लिए, सामाजिक विकास के लिए और सांस्कृतिक विकास के लिए, जिसमें भ्रष्टाचार की कोई गुंजाइश नहीं है, उस पर प्रधानमंत्री जी का बहुत बड़ा दस्तावेज है. और मुझे लगता है कि आने वाले 5 सालों में देश बहुत प्रोग्रेस के रास्ते पर जाने वाला है।
जी सर, राम मंदिर के टाइम पर आपकी बड़ी भूमिका देखी गई थी, जिस तरह से आपने खासकर जो बिजनेस क्लास है उसमें उनका पार्टिसिपेशन जो प्राण प्रतिष्ठान के दिन देखा गया था आपका। अब पीएम मोदी ने बोला है कि अयोध्या धाम को और ब्यूटिफिकेशन किया जाएगा और उसको डेवलप किया जाएगा और भी जो बड़े मंदिर हैं उनको जो है उनका भी डेवलपमेंट होगा।
देखिए, जो भी भारत की संस्कृति को प्रतिबिंबित करते हैं, वो अयोध्या धाम हो और जितने भी मंदिर हों, तो उनको और गांव-गांव तक ले जाने के लिए, उनको बारे में लोगों को बताने के लिए हम लगातार काम करते रहेंगे। देश के व्यापारी भी जुड़ेंगे और मैं अपने पूरे चांदनी चौक की लोकसभा के लोगों को भी इसके साथ में जोड़ने वाला हूँ।
All right, that we were having a very engaging conversation. The first reaction coming in from Chandni Chowk candidate of the BJP, Praveen Khandelwal. Obviously, this would be part of his curriculum. He would have watched every word said of the manifesto release function at the BJP headquarters. But remember, as I say, that this is a consolidation manifesto. This is a manifesto which talks about scaling up on what has already been delivered. This actually shows the sure-footedness with which the BJP is approaching this entire election. Remember what the Prime Minister said. Concluding his speech, he said that this is a Naya Bharat and can't be stopped, and that we are going to deliver, start delivering from day one. And in fact, in the last Council of Ministers, he mentioned, yes, Karan.
The amount of inclusivity we saw, because there was something in it for every section, from street vendors. He talked about giving dignity to street vendors. The Swanidhi Yojana, where there were 10,000 loans worth 10,000 collateral free, he's increasing it to 50,000. He talked about transgenders. He talked about cervical cancer. He talked about fisheries. I mean, this is a Prime Minister who has his ear firmly placed on the ground and understands that this is a government for everyone.
I will come to for a reaction to Nikhil on this, but I'm told we have a reporter there at the BJP headquarters live with us. Let's go to Riyanka. She's been there since morning. In fact, Riyanka, if you are getting me, if you are hearing me, and if you are patched, please tell us, has the Prime Minister left? What's really happening? Have you been able to speak to some of those BJP leaders present? And what next so far as the BJP headquarters is concerned?
Well, I'm currently here at the BJP headquarters. I'm out from the hall where the event was happening, and Prime Minister Modi has left the premises. Well, in my hand I have got the hard copy of the BJP's manifesto for 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Well, if we see, this is a power-packed manifesto when it comes to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He has not left even one single sector which has not been covered. As we were in fact reporting since morning about this entire manifesto, the focus remains on the youth, on the women, on the farmers and the poor. Well, if we see, Prime Minister has spoken also about one nation, one election. He has also spoken about the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code, and also how several measures have been taken for the upliftment of women, of farmers, of poor and for youth. If we talk about the entire scenario here, there are several leaders who are present here. Several leaders have in fact left the premises as well. But as we see, the focal point was on the Gyan scheme, which means G for Garib, Y for Yuva, A for the Annadata, and N for Nari, which means the four castes that Prime Minister continues to mention here. And we saw how the 1 hour long speech of Prime Minister Narendra Modi got us, we were in fact quite intrigued with the fact that he has covered every sector, be it the bullet trains, be it the fisheries, be it the women, be it the tourism sector as well. In fact, the focus point, the main focus point is Modi ki guarantee, the Vikasit Bharat, developed India till 2047. He in fact said he is going to be working for 24/7 to make the mission 2047 come true.
Into a short break, Riyanka, be there, and then we come back with a conversation on the other side. A lot of political reactions coming in. Let's be back after a short break.
QS and THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
In just a decade, India has transformed into a digital powerhouse. From classrooms to clinics, farms to finance, digitalization is revolutionizing every aspect of life. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
Good evening and welcome, viewers. The BJP says that the fact that the bombers behind the Bengaluru blast in the Rameshwaram cafe were the fact that they were found in Bengal today proves that Bengal under Mamata Banerjee is a safe haven for terrorists. Big charge to make, and that might not be entirely correct. But will Mamata Banerjee be bold enough to accept that Islamist terrorism is a threat to the entire world and to India? Would secularities like Mamata Banerjee and the Vadra Congress government in Karnataka both accept that it was a terrible mistake to downplay the Rameshwaram cafe blast as a result of a possible feud between business rivals, rather than what it was, a terrorist incident, a terrorist attack? Would Mamata Banerjee and secularities and
All right, welcome back. We have reactions, in fact, coming in from all quarters on the BJP manifesto. In a bit, we are going to get you Ashok Gehlot, Anshu Awasthi, Pramod Tiwari, Sheikh Bashir of the NC, and all those voices in a bit on your network. Stay with us. And on that note, let me go back to Nikhil. Nikhil, you had Karan actually agreeing with me that this is about consolidation and scaling up. If you see already schemes delivering, as this Americanism goes, if ain't broke, why fix it? So the BJP is choosing that path, that we'll consolidate, we will scale it up, and because the people have already given a mandate twice on these promises, substantial bit of which has already been delivered, why not take it up further from there? So how do you disagree with that?
So Abhishek, the people did give their vote to the BJP twice, believing the promises that the BJP made, but the fact is that those promises have not been delivered. Let's remember the promises made in 2014. Bullet train aayegi, nahi aayi. 72 smart cities, nahi aayi.
Why do you want to have a non-starter of a conversation?
No, I want to have a practical conversation that when my Prime Minister tells me that I'm going to double farmer incomes in the next 8 years, I expect him to at least 1.8 times it. He's not even managed in real terms. In real terms, the Prime Minister has not been able to increase the farmer incomes by even 20%. He's talked about
Okay, Yogi speaking. Hold on. Yogi speaking. Let's go to him. Yogi speaking.
संकल्प पत्र निर्माण समिति के अध्यक्ष रक्षा मंत्री माननीय श्री राजनाथ सिंह जी ने और गृह मंत्री माननीय श्री अमित शाह जी ने जारी किया है। देश को, भारत को विकसित भारत की परिकल्पना को साकार करने की संकल्पना पर आधारित 14 नए संकल्पों के साथ गरीब, युवा, महिला और किसान, इन 4 स्तंभों पर आधारित भारतीय जनता पार्टी का ये संकल्प पत्र देश के एम्बिशन है, और जो देश का एम्बिशन है वही मोदी का मिशन है। मोदी जी का जो विजन है वही हम सब का मिशन है। मैं इस संकल्प पत्र के लिए आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का, माननीय राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी का, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सभी अपने वरिष्ठ नेताओं का हृदय से अभिनंदन करता हूं और प्रदेश के लाखों कार्यकर्ताओं की ओर से और 25 करोड़ जनता की ओर से आभार भी व्यक्त करता हूं। यह संकल्प पत्र देश के सभी नागरिकों को एक मोदी की गारंटी है, गारंटी डिग्निटी ऑफ लाइफ की, क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ की, क्वालिटी ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी की, क्वालिटी ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी की अपेक्षा को पूरा होने की गारंटी है। यानी मोदी की गारंटी का मतलब बिना भेदभाव के हर तबके के लोगों को ले सबका साथ और सबके विकास के भाव के साथ आत्मनिर्भर भारत के माध्यम से विकसित भारत की संकल्पना को आगे बढ़ाना। इस संकल्प पत्र में जो 4 आधार बनाए गए हैं वह है युवा, महिला, अन्नदाता किसान और गरीब। इन चारों के उन्नयन के लिए कार्य करना। आपने देखा होगा कि पिछले 10 वर्ष में 25 करोड़ लोग गरीबी रेखा से उभर करके उनके जीवन में परिवर्तन आया। हमारा जो युवा के लिए अनेक योजनाएं प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में जारी हुई। वे पीएम स्टार्टअप की योजना हो, पीएम स्टैंड अप की योजना हो, प्रधानमंत्री मुद्रा योजना हो या रोजगार से जुड़े हुए अन्य सभी कार्यक्रमों के साथ साथ निवेश को नौकरी के साथ जोड़ने के अलावा अन्य अनेक रोजगार और नौकरी की संभावनाओं को विकसित करने के कार्यक्रम को भी इस संकल्प पत्र में स्थान दिया गया है। महिलाओं के लिए आपने देखा होगा 10 करोड़ महिलाओं को महिला स्वयंसेवी समूह के माध्यम से स्वावलंबन की ओर अग्रसर करने के साथ ही अब अगले 5 वर्ष के एक नए विजन के साथ उनके जीवन में व्यापक परिवर्तन को आधार बनाने का कार्य हुआ है। हर एक सेक्टर को छूते हुए इन 4 आधार स्तंभों को ध्यान में रख करके भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने अपना यह लोक कल्याण संकल्प पत्र जारी किया है। यह संकल्प पत्र मोदी की गारंटी के माध्यम से आत्मनिर्भर भारत और विकसित भारत की संकल्पना को पूरा करेगा, इसमें कोई संदेह नहीं, यह अवश्य पूरा होगा। और इस अभियान को जो एक विजन संकल्प पत्र के माध्यम से दिया है, इसको भारतीय जनता पार्टी का कोटि-कोटि कार्यकर्ता अपने जीवन का मिशन बना करके विकसित भारत की संकल्पना को साकार बनाने का कार्य करेगा। देश की आशा और आकांक्षाओं को पूरा करने में अपना पूरा योगदान देगा। जनता जनार्दन का आशीर्वाद इस संकल्प पत्र के अनुरूप भारतीय जनता पार्टी को प्राप्त होगा, यह हमें पूरा विश्वास है। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
नकल विरोधी कानून को सख्ती से लागू करने की बात कही।
All right, welcome back. That was first reaction coming in from Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. We continue to have Karan Verma, Nikhil Jain and Savio with us. We also have Abhishek Sudhir. I believe he's already passed. Abhishek, if you're getting me, give us the first opposition view as an analyst of the political scene on the BJP manifesto which was released by the Prime Minister just a while back. Modi ki guarantee manifesto.
I think one of the big issues is the one nation, one election. The way I see it, probably for a more educated audience, this is a measure that will probably change the face of Indian democracy and the Constitution of India as we know it. It will necessitate a number of constitutional amendments. In principle, I'm against this idea because at the end of the day, you're going to have elections just once every 5 years. And even if a state government collapses, when you have what they're calling a midterm election, they're going to borrow the phrase from the United States, that election will be for the remainder of the term. So if the government falls after 2 years, you will then just have an election for 3 more years. We've also seen the BJP engineer defections, and they've ensured that there have been no midterm elections. So I think the BJP is confident that it can get a mandate whereby elections are held only once every 5 years. I think this is a measure that is targeted at regional parties. Because like you will see in the case of, say, Odisha, you have Naveen Patnaik this time in 2024, who's fighting both Assembly and Lok Sabha elections. In 2029, you will have every regional party fighting both Assembly and Lok Sabha elections. Regional parties will not have the resources to fight both elections effectively.
If it has been happening in Odisha, if it has been happening in Andhra Pradesh, and it happened at least for the first 4 elections, and nobody complained that this was against democracy then or now.
Yes, Abhishek, the first 4 elections when it happened, you had a centralizing force, the Congress party of the time under Nehru and then Indira, right? With brief
Now the BJP is the centralizing force.
See, what I'm saying, Abhishek, is simply this. You look at what happened in Karnataka last year. Massive mandate in favor of the Congress. This year, you could very well see an even split because of the Modi factor. I think what the BJP is banking on through One Nation, One Election is that the brand Modi, that in 2029 also, the Modi factor will have an impact. And the voter will say, I'm voting for Modi at the center, so I'll vote for Modi at the state. I don't think it will quite work out that way, but that seems to be the motivation.
And that does not happen. The recent experiences, the recent experience actually calls the bluff of this argument, Abhishek. Savio, the fact of the matter is that in 2014, Odisha voted for Naveen Patnaik and Andhra voted for Chandrababu Naidu. In 2019, Odisha voted for Naveen Patnaik, Andhra voted for Jagan. So this argument, I think we have lost Savio. So maybe Karan can respond to that.
No, exactly what you're saying, Abhishek. People are wise enough to understand that. And Odisha is a burning example of that. And my friend Abhishek, he doesn't feel democracy is under threat or any of it when what happens in TMC ruled West Bengal, we see 20,000 seats uncontested. We see 45 die in panchayat elections. So this is what the opposition is. When they talk about being torchbearers of democracy, this is what is happening in Bengal right now. So, putting the blame on Mr. Modi and being one centralized figure, I think that doesn't do good. People are wise enough to understand that and they can vote on issues. And we are sick of this, Abhishek, if you ask me. We are sick of polls happening every 6 months. I mean, where is the time for governance if you have elections every 4th month?
Fair enough. Okay. Now, Savio is back with us. And Nikhil, a quick comparison and then Savio gets to respond to you. You see, BJP says Garib, Yuva, Annadata, Nari. These are the 4 target audiences this manifesto essentially addresses. Gyan is the acronym given by Prime Minister for Garib, Yuva, Annadata, Nari. Now, if you look at the 5 Nyais which the Congress party is talking about, Nikhil, it has Yuva, Nari, Kisan and Mazdoor. And of course, it adds another one by way of inclusivism, Hissedari. Now, I'll come to Hissedari next. But essentially, if you look at it, the target audience remains same for the BJP and the Congress.
Absolutely, Abhishek. That is why I've been calling this manifesto.
But nobody is then, why is nobody listening to the Congress party?
No, that's why I'm calling it a copycat manifesto that the Congress party launched its manifesto 2 weeks ago. And on the manifestos, I have both the manifestos open in front of me. And I'll tell you viewers some very interesting stats about the manifesto. So the Congress manifesto, even though the Pradhan Mantri has been calling it the Muslim League ka manifesto, I don't know why is he remembering his old alliance partners from pre-independence. Be that as it may, the Congress manifesto never mentions the word Muslims. It only mentions the word minority once or twice, and that is like we are going to preserve the rights of all minorities.
Okay.
The Congress manifesto mentions Mahatma Gandhi thrice, Ambedkar once, Nehru once, Indira Gandhi once, Manmohan Singh once, Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge 0 times.
Right.
The BJP's manifesto, on the other hand, mentions Savarkar 0 times, Hedgewar 0 times, Deendayal Upadhyay 0 times, but Modi 65 times.
Savio,
that is the narcissism of this man.
Respond to that.
Har page pe Modi hai yaar.
Savio, would you respond to that?
Well, it's very sad that that Nikhil Jain, who leans more towards the Congress, just doesn't understand, the value that Modi brings as a leader to the Bharatiya Janata Party and more importantly to the country. So he was talking about doing nothing for the farmers. So let me just give him some facts and data, because Amit Bagaria and I, we spent 2,952 hours writing and analyzing this new book of ours on the 10 years of transformational policies, right? So let me give you an idea. This government has spent a whopping 529.5 lakh crores on the agri sector. And this, when compared to what UPA has done, UPA has spent only 101.7 lakh crore on the Kisan. And that jump, what BJP has done is 420.65%. That's just one example. I can take you to the Nari, I can take you to the youth, I can take you to the poor, the economic backward classes, and I can give you data. So, but I'd rather you wait for the book to come out, because it is a startling revelation that will knock the pants out of all the opposition leaders, and including some of the people who are still question mark on Narendra Modi. Why is Modi important, and what is Modi trying to do with this manifesto? The manifesto is driven by the principles of what Mr. Modi stands for. His principles are the principles of Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma is a very inclusive approach to governance. It's a very inclusive approach to the way you should take a country forward based on the principles of spirituality that are great in Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And while Nikhil and all these others from the opposition continue to do the drama around, going to temples and visiting dargahs and all, and trying to show and portray that they are inclusive, the fact of the matter is that they can't even define secularism. They call it what Nikhil calls it the...
hold on, Savio. Nikhil, hold on. No. Official party reaction is coming in. Congress party is holding a press conference. Savio, just give me a second. I'll come back to you. Let's listen into the first Congress official reaction with the party addressing a press conference from their Ashok Road headquarters.
आज के मैनिफेस्टो पे अब चर्चा करेंगे, लेकिन 2014 का जो इनका मैनिफेस्टो था, उसका पेज नंबर 5 पे एक वादा किया था कि स्पेशल टास्क फोर्स बना के काला धन वापस लाएंगे। हुआ क्या? इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड आ गए। मैं सिर्फ आपको 3-4 उदाहरण दूंगा। हमारे रिसर्च के जो चेयरमैन हैं वो उस पे ज्यादा खुलासा करेंगे। पेज नंबर 6 पे क्या लिखा था कि जो गिरती हुई करेंसी है उसकी कीमत को सुधारेंगे। आज क्या हुआ? $83 पार हो गया। पेज नंबर 8, नॉर्थ ईस्ट में कानून व्यवस्था को मजबूत करेंगे। अब मणिपुर में तो साहब न जा पाते हैं, न मणिपुर पे एक शब्द बोल पाते हैं। यह है हकीकत, यह है असलियत। पेज नंबर 15, 100 जिलों की स्पेशल पैकेज से गरीबी दूर करेंगे। हंगर इंडेक्स में आप आंकड़ा देखेंगे, आपको समझ में आ जाएगा कितनी गरीबी दूर हुई। पेज नंबर 18, 100 नए स्मार्ट सिटीज बनाएंगे। हुआ क्या? चीन हमारे भीतर घुस के कुछ स्मार्ट विलेजेस बना के जा रहा, हमने नहीं स्मार्ट सिटीज बनाई। ऐसे कई जुमले, और हैरानी की बात है कि इनका जो अर्दली है, नंबर 2 है इस सरकार में और इनकी पार्टी में, अमित शाह, वो खुद कहता है कि ये जुमलेबाजी। किसी देश का प्रधानमंत्री के लिए इससे बुरा कुछ नहीं हो सकता कि उसकी जुबान पर लोगों को भरोसा उठ जाए, उसको लोग झूठा कहने लगते।
Okay, friends, this is the first official reaction of the Congress party to the BJP Sankalp Patra. Pawan Khera addressing the press conference there from the party's Akbar Road headquarters. He's saying this is a jumla, another one of the jumlas of the BJP. But remember, friends, both in 2014 and 2019, based on these manifestos, the BJP has won strong, complete majorities in the Lok Sabha, and we are looking at the possibility that BJP might repeat its record given the kind of feedback you get from the ground. But what is important is that there is a political opposition and they have to tell us something about, okay, fine. So Nikhil, we will continue the conversation. The issue is, we want a strong opposition, but the opposition has to, have the political lexicon to take on the BJP. So for example, when the Congress party comes out with a manifesto, the BJP is quickly led by the Prime Minister to brand it as a Muslim manifesto, Muslim League manifesto, right? Now, where's the punchline coming in? You have a rambling Pawan Khera going about Jumla, this, that. The fact is people see it, that you are not able to set a political narrative in your favor. And that seems to be happening again.
I think, Abhishek, the Congress party is a party which would like to say कि हमारी दरिया इसलिए पार नहीं होती क्योंकि झूठ का सहारा नहीं लेते. When the Prime Minister says Muslim League का manifesto, I challenge the Prime Minister or the BJP to prove one single thing, one single page in the 48 pages that shows that this is a Muslim League manifesto, and the Election Commission of this country is sitting and sleeping silently. 100 घोड़े बेच के सो रहे हैं कि this man is brazenly using religion in the elections. He's lying to the people of India.
I think there is an ideological position to that, so
what is the ideological position? The Muslim League, the Congress.
Let me tell you why it is a Muslim League manifesto. On page 11, Abhishek, they mention that we will encourage our citizens, especially the minorities, to uphold their personal laws. Now, what are they trying to do here? In a country where the Supreme Court is on record saying that there should not be two laws for two different communities, are they planning to do a Shah Banu 2.0 where they want to reverse the triple talaq? Are they planning to do this? Is this what your intention is? One second. And another thing, you know, they are talking about removing the 50% cap in reservation. Very tacitly they'd say, we will remove the 50% cap in reservation. और वहां पे इनका रेवंत रेड्डी कहता है, we are getting reservation for Muslims. In Karnataka, they are saying we are going to get it back. That was removed by BJP. In Maharashtra, they passed a resolution for getting a reservation for Muslims based on religion. तो आप करना क्या चाहते हो? 50% यहाँ से cap हटाओगे और उधर Muslim reservation करना चाह रहे हो? This is a Muslim League manifesto which talks about personal laws.
Okay, now I have to take caught lying red-handed in a saffron shirt. I need to respond to that. The personal law, that was on a lighter vein. Let's not be so dramatic. Let's not be so dramatic.
Short break.
In just a decade, India has transformed into a digital powerhouse. From classrooms to clinics, farms to finance, digitalization is revolutionizing every aspect of life. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
The fight for Bengaluru rural is getting fierce. The constituency covers Kunigal, Rajarajeshwari Nagar, Bengaluru South, Anekal, Magadi, Ramanagaram, Kanakpura and Channapatna regions. DK Suresh of the Congress and CN Manjunath of the BJP will lock horns to stake claim over the constituency. In the 2019 election, DK Suresh won Bengaluru rural, the only Lok Sabha seat that the Congress could secure in the city. The BJP swept the remaining 3 Lok Sabha seats from Bengaluru. Bengaluru rural witnessed a 64.89% voter turnout in 2019, with the Congress-JDS alliance candidate DK Suresh retaining the seat with a margin of 2 lakh votes against BJP's Ashwath Narayana Gowda. Suresh secured 8.78 lakh votes. P. Chinnappa came third with 19,972 votes. Republic walked the campaign trail with BJP CN Manjunath.
Doctor, 38 years of service in the medical field and also being the director of Jaideva Institute of Cardiology as well, you have served at your maximum capacity.
साथियों, भाजपा सरकार ने पिछले 10 वर्ष में 25 करोड़ लोगों को गरीबी से बाहर निकालकर हमने सिद्ध किया है कि हम परिणाम लाने के लिए काम करते हैं। लेकिन काम वहां रुकता नहीं है। जो लोग गरीबी से बाहर आए, इनको भी लंबे अरसे तक संबल की आवश्यकता है। नहीं तो कभी कभी एक छोटी सी कठिनाई भी फिर से उसको एक बार गरीबी में धकेल देती है। भाजपा ने गरीब कल्याण की कई योजनाओं के विस्तार का भी संकल्प किया है। मोदी की गारंटी है कि मुफ्त राशन की योजना आने वाले 5 साल तक जारी रहेगी। हम ये सुनिश्चित करेंगे कि गरीब के भोजन की थाली पोषण युक्त हो और उसके मन को संतोष देने वाली हो और एफोर्डेबल ही और सस्ती भी हो।
QS&THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
In just a decade, India has transformed into a digital powerhouse. From classrooms to clinics, farms to finance, digitalization is revolutionizing every aspect of life. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Award.
Good evening and welcome, viewers. The BJP says that the fact that the bombers behind the Bengaluru blast in the Rameshwaram cafe were the fact that they were found in Bengal today proves that Bengal under Mamata Banerjee is a safe haven for terrorists. Big charge to make, and that might not be entirely correct. But will Mamata Banerjee be bold enough to accept that Islamist terrorism is a threat to the entire world and to India? Would secularities like Mamata Banerjee and the Vadra Congress government in Karnataka both accept that it was...
All right, welcome back, friends. We are continuing to have our conversation on BJP's manifesto, which was released by Prime Minister about an hour back. Our guests continue to be with us. I go to Abhishek Sudhir. Abhishek, you picked up earlier the issue of one nation, one poll, but is this the only one you find problems with? I mean, the question that I was asking was that if you look at the target audience, the constituency which the BJP is trying to address with Gyan, Garib, Yuva, Annadata, Nari. This is the same constituents of the Congress party, but somehow, Abhishek, the BJP is able to be sounding more convincing than the Congress and the opposition, perhaps, right? And that is the reason why you see the BJP as the ruling party and opposition in disarray. You think anything would change post these manifestos, post this campaign, or not?
I think sadly in India, people don't necessarily vote on the basis of the manifestos. I don't think a huge number of voters actually sit and read the manifestos. It's up to the leaders of the respective parties.
Abhishek, there's some problem with the audio. Is it true that people maybe don't read the manifesto, but the kind of amplification of this information happens these days through media, mainstream media, and social media savvy, that people are not aware? I think we are living in the best of times in terms of communication, right? Maybe there was an era in the year when people would not be aware what the party manifestos promised. They would just go by whatever they pick from here and there, but maybe locally. But now I think the communication part is substantive, right? People know what they're voting for.
Absolutely. I think we have a very informed set of people in the country at this point of time, and courtesy Digital India, because you have the ability for people to have access to information's flowing through social media, even in the corners of the country where Digital India has managed to grow in. See, the thing what Congress and the opposition are not understanding, and which is really sad for the country, because you and I, Abhishek, we would agree that for the country to progress, you need good opposition as well. But the opposition is practically a lame duck at this point of time. They're grabbing onto crumbs that have been thrown by the BJP in order for them to have some sort of a breathing. Now they're talking about unemployment. The Nikhil in most television shows talks about unemployment. Let me just give him some statistics that we've been putting together through a part of our research. And I'll let him understand what is going on. Now, if you look at the EPFO contributing members over the last 10 years, 200.004 million have become a part of the EPFO. If you look at the NPS, which is the National Pension Scheme subscribers, 66.735 million in the last 10 years. If you look at what is a combination of EPFO and NPF members over the last 10 years, that combination is 26.739 million. So if you're talking about unemployment, please tell me, today you're seeing a large rise in MSME sectors, you're seeing a large rise in the SME sectors, you're seeing a huge, humongous rise in the startup sector. During the UPA era, there were only about 350 startups that were registered with what would have been considered to be Startup India. Right now, there's 1,19,257. You can look at various different reasons and say, okay, you know, UPA has done it this way, NDA has done it that way. The point is, where is India growing today, and what is the confidence level of the people of India that BJP has instilled courtesy its Prime Minister, Narendra Modi? Atma Vishwas and Atma Samman. Those are really the two energies that are driving India to rise as Bharat. You can sit down and crib, and that's what the opposition has been doing for so long. They don't come out with a solution. They are talking about Nai. But for Nai, you need to have Gyan. Without knowledge, a man is incomplete, and that's exactly what Prime Minister Modi is doing. He's focusing on Gyan. Gyan in this case being Garib, the Gyan in this case being the Yuva, Gyan in this case being the Annadata, and Gyan in this case being the Nari. And without Gyan, an individual will never move to the next level of growth. And the problem and the main focus, what the opposition is not understanding, is that they are focusing over each election after another election. Prime Minister Modi has gone way beyond that. The BJP, along with Prime Minister Modi, is focusing on 2047. Why? Because that is the time we see India standing up very, very firmly as a very strong power in geopolitics. And the kind of foundation that is necessary for that is what Prime Minister Modi is setting right now. Unfortunately, Rahul Gandhi, besides making sona from potatoes, is really not talking about any economic benefits to this country. He's talking about politics of love. The politics of love that he's talking about is clearly seen when he does not raise issues of the people of West Bengal. His politics of love. They are talking about Manipur. They are talking about Manipur. What was Manipur all about? They talk about it being a religious conflict. It is not a religious conflict. Yeah. It is a narcotics trade issue out there. A 70,000 crore narcotics trade issue that has turned it into an ethnic conflict.
Abhishek, I'm sure Savio has heard Man Ki Baat today. Shanti nahi ho rahi.
No. Savio, I think PCR, can you fix it? Savio is not getting us. I have to go to Abhishek Sudhir now. Okay. You put the fader down. Go to Abhishek.
Abhishek, look, the point is this.
Yeah, he's not getting it. So, okay, Abhishek, you get to respond.
Majority nonsense that you all talk about, because that's not going anywhere. India is rising as Bharat. Whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Hindu, whether you're a Parsi, whether you're a Christian, you are the Bharatiya. You can laugh as much as you want, because you have no hope for the future.
You have to fix your video, please. The moment you start
speaking, a reality.
Your video freezes.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Abhishek? Yes.
Its video is freezing.
Your video freezing is a conspiracy to help Savio, you know.
I can fix that conspiracy if you let me, Abhishek.
Okay.
I think you would have somebody.
Can I take in the tag from my team member? Can I take in the tag from my team member? Yeah.
No, the point that we were having, the conversation that we were having in the studio is when the BJP says that this is a Muslim League manifesto and sets a narrative, the Congress party is failing.
No.
And then Karan Verma said, no, there is a Modi ki guarantee narrative clearly, solidly in the manifesto.
Correct. So first of all, let me correct the liar, pants on fire moment from my very good friend Karan. He says, क्या कहा था आपने, क्या लिखा है कांग्रेस मैनिफेस्टो का 11 पेज पे, क्योंकि आपने झूठ कहा था ना. I'll read out what is written about personal laws in the Congress manifesto. It's on page 8 in the section about religious and linguistic minorities. Point number 7. Congress will ensure that like every citizen, minorities have the freedom of choice of dress, food, language and personal laws.
That's personal laws.
Personal laws.
Okay, hold on. Every time you can't do this. Karan, every time you can't do this. And number 8. We will encourage reform of personal laws. Such reform must be undertaken with the participation and consent of the communities concerned.
The Congress party has been doing it since 1950.
That is the reason. Hindu women today have the right to property. Abhishek, that's the reason Hindu women today have the right to property.
Reform in 1986.
That may have been a wrong movement by the Congress, but the reason the reason that the Hindu women in the country today have rights of property is because of the Congress party's amendment in 2005 and previous amendments in 1955. And by the way, let me remind Karan, the 2005 amendment that came in.
Only for the majority.
No.
All reform for the majority. Minority.
Muslim laws were never codified. Muslim laws, they did not have the guts to touch them. They could not reform them.
Personal laws के लिए codified है 1937 से.
47 की बात करिए ना जब आजादी मिली.
आजादी मिलने के बाद we adopted the laws that we had.
Can I
carrying from before. We had the Trade Unions Act. We had a bunch of other acts, including the IPC and the CRPC. Also, one more thing on Savio. Out of the eloquent verbosity that Savio engaged in, when talked about unemployment, Savio is only using two proxy markers, National Pension Scheme and the EPFO, which are both markers that pertain only to the organized workforce. Okay. However, the Labour Ministry's, Government of India Labour Ministry's own 2023 report clearly states 93% of the workers in this country are in the unorganized sector. So when talked about the 100% unemployment situation, they will talk only about the 7% organized workers. They do not care about the 93%. किसान के पास क्या ईपीएफओ होता है साहब? क्या रिक्शा वाले के पास ईपीएफओ होता है?
नहीं होगा कुछ ना. अब मुझे जवाब देने दीजिए. इन्होंने बहुत सारी बातें कही. सबसे पहली बात, he exposed himself and admitted कि शाह बानो के टाइम पे they reversed the Supreme Court to ensure. Now I'm coming to that. They reversed the Supreme Court judgment to ensure that the woman doesn't get alimony. This is their legacy. And after 1947, when they formed the government, they did not have the guts to touch the Muslim law. They codified Hindu laws, but they did not have the guts, keeping their eye on vote bank, to codify them.
10 years of Modi government, what have they done?
Now you're speaking in between. And as far as this personal laws, आज हमें भी पता है, Abhishek, today, why don't we have a uniform civil code? Because there is a problem of Muslim exceptionalism. Do they have the guts to say कि हम ट्रिपल तलाक के अगेंस्ट रहेंगे? ट्रिपल तलाक के अगेंस्ट बीच में बोल रहे हो. Now who's speaking in between? Abhishek, who's speaking in between?
Don't do that. I'm running out of time.
Triple talaq, they don't have the guts to say. Child marriage. I mean, they don't even have the compassion to say child marriage is wrong and there should not be a case of Muslim exceptionalism. And to the employment, let me catch his lie. In the last 10 years, Abhishek, 75 new airports have come. 40,000 square kilometers of highways have been laid down. Ports have come up, banks, branches, everything has increased multifold. Who is doing all this? If not for the men and women of this country, who are doing this? Are aliens coming on earth and doing this?
No.
So that itself shows how employment has gone up.
I'm seeing Abhishek finally back. Abhishek, if Savio's conspiracy has failed and your video is working, you get your time now, please.
Okay, here we go. One last try. Look, about employment. Okay, Uttar Pradesh government recently advertised 60,000 jobs for constables, 60,000 posts. You had 50 lakh applications. 50 lakh people applied for 60,000 constable posts. Okay, look at the CSDS Lok Niti survey. They say that for 62% of all respondents, unemployment is the number one issue. 79% of all respondents believe that religious pluralism is part of India's identity and character. You cannot win this election on communalization. The BJP, in my opinion, has failed on jobs, and not just my opinion. You look at the International Labour Organization, ILO's report. The ILO says that 80% of India's unemployed workforce is the urban youth. Urban unemployment in the youth is as high as 20%. And that is not talking of joblessness. That's only of the people who are looking for jobs. If you have jobs and if you're so prosperous, what is the need for such a wide ration scheme? You're more than 40% of the population on free food. You're giving people food. You're filling their bellies. You're not allowing them to earn. You're not skilling them. When the Congress says we will come up with an apprentice program, you say it's a Muslim League manifesto. Every time your ideas fail, you go back to religion. You go back to Mandir Masjid, right? This will not work. If Mr. Modi gets a third term, it has to be on the basis of the jobs, of unemployment, of price rise. Look at the price of a kilo of onion, a price of a kilo of tomato. These are the issues that matter. These are the issues people are voting on. Abhishek,
price of onion is just yesterday I bought it for 32 rupees a kg.
Abhishek,
there was a time when onion would go to 100, 120 rupees a kg. So it's not inflation.
Also a time when it
in fact,
would go to 200.
For the longest period of time, the consumer price inflation is in check. Is in check. Is in check.
One more minute. You look at CSDS Lokniti. CSDS Lokniti is saying that this election should be.
I don't have one more minute. Sorry, Abhishek.
Huh?
Abhishek, sorry, I've really run out of time. Best luck next time with your video. I hope you have something to work on Savio's conspiracy. And on that note, I have to slip into a short break. Thank you so much, friends, for joining us and having this conversation on BJP's manifesto. Remember, for every promise made in the manifestos, people watch them closely, be it the BJP, be it the Congress or the Communist parties, etc. And then they determine and decide whom they are going to vote for. So obviously this conversation that we had since morning is an important contributor to that decision making, which strengthens our democracy. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Short break. On the other side, Live and Breaking is back.
In just a decade, India has transformed into a digital powerhouse. From classrooms to clinics, farms to finance, digitalization is revolutionizing every aspect of life. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
Terror hideouts bust open. Faces of terror face crackdown by forces. Ahead of the upcoming Lok Sabha elections, the security forces in J&K are carrying out a full-scale anti-terror operation. In the latest massive crackdown by the J&K police in Kishtwar district, more terrorists were apprehended. Terrorists and their associates were taken into custody by the security forces. Over a dozen surrendered terrorists, terror associates, and individuals with histories linked to terrorism were detained by J&K police ahead of the Lok Sabha elections.
A massive crackdown has been launched by the Kishtwar police in the upper areas of the Bonjwa and the nearby tehsils on the terrorists and their sympathizers that are active in the area. Early today morning, multiple teams of the Kishtwar police carried out searches at the residences of the surrendered terrorists as well as the overground workers and
साथियों, भाजपा सरकार ने पिछले 10 वर्ष में 25 करोड़ लोगों को गरीबी से बाहर निकालकर हमने सिद्ध किया है कि हम परिणाम लाने के लिए काम करते हैं। लेकिन काम वहां रुकता नहीं है। जो लोग गरीबी से बाहर आए, इनको भी लंबे अरसे तक संबल की आवश्यकता है। नहीं तो कभी कभी एक छोटी सी कठिनाई भी फिर से उसको एक बार गरीबी में धकेल देती है। भाजपा ने गरीब कल्याण की कई योजनाओं के विस्तार का भी संकल्प किया है। मोदी की गारंटी है कि मुफ्त राशन की योजना आने वाले 5 साल तक जारी रहेगी। हम ये सुनिश्चित करेंगे कि गरीब के भोजन की थाली पोषण युक्त हो और उसके मन को संतोष देने वाली हो और एफोर्डेबल ही और सस्ती भी हो। भाजपा ने एक बहुत बड़ा निर्णय लिया है। ये निर्णय 70 वर्ष की आयु से ऊपर के सभी बुजुर्गों से जुड़ा है। आज जो बुजुर्ग हैं उनकी बहुत बड़ी चिंता होती है कि बीमारी की स्थिति में इलाज का खर्च कैसे आएगा, और ये मध्यम वर्ग परिवार को ज्यादा होती है। अब भाजपा ने संकल्प लिया है कि 70 वर्ष की आयु से ऊपर के हर बुजुर्ग को आयुष्मान योजना के दायरे में लाया जाएगा। हम 3 करोड़ और घर बनाने का संकल्प लेकर के आगे बढ़ेंगे। हमने करोड़ों गरीब परिवारों को मुफ्त बिजली कनेक्शन दिए। अब हम करोड़ों परिवारों का बिजली बिल जीरो करने और बिजली से कमाई के अवसर पैदा करने की दिशा में काम करेंगे। मुद्रा योजना के तहत लोन की सीमा 10 लाख रुपए हुआ करती थी। अब भाजपा ने इसे बढ़ाकर 20 लाख रुपए करने का इरादा किया है।
QS&THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
In just a decade, India has transformed into a digital powerhouse. From classrooms to clinics, farms to finance, digitalization is revolutionizing every aspect of life. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal
Terror hideouts bust open. Faces of terror face crackdown by forces. Ahead of the upcoming Lok Sabha elections, the security forces in J&K are carrying out a full-scale anti-terror operation. In the latest massive crackdown by the J&K police in Kishtwar district, more terrorists were apprehended. Terrorists and their associates were taken into custody by the security forces. Over a dozen surrendered terrorists, terror associates, and individuals with histories linked to terrorism were detained by J&K police ahead of the Lok Sabha elections.
A massive crackdown has been launched by the Kishtwar police in the upper areas of the Bonjwa and the nearby tehsils on the terrorists and their sympathizers that are active in the area. Early today morning, multiple teams of the Kishtwar police carried out searches at the residences of the surrendered terrorists as well as the overground workers and the history sheeters that are involved in the terror crimes. The teams that were led by the SSP Abdul Qayyum raided multiple houses and over a dozen of the history sheeters, the surrendered.
मुझे पक्का विश्वास है कि इंडस्ट्री 4.0 का जो युग है उसमें जिस प्रकार के इकोसिस्टम की जरूरत है, छोटे उद्योगों की जरूरत है, ये इंडस्ट्री 4.0 के नेटवर्क को बढ़ाने के लिए ये नई ताकत के रूप में काम आएगा। इससे शहर हो या गांव, युवाओं को अपनी रुचि का काम करने के लिए और अधिक पैसे मिलेंगे। 1 करोड़ लखपति दीदियां बन चुकी हैं। अब मोदी ने 3 करोड़ बहनों को लखपति दीदी बनाने की गारंटी दी है। नमो ड्रोन दीदी योजना से गांव-गांव में बहनें ड्रोन पायलट बनेंगी। ट्रांसजेंडर साथियों को भी पहले किसी ने नहीं पूछा, ऐसे साथियों को पहचान और प्रतिष्ठा देने का भी भाजपा ने ही प्रारंभ किया है। भाजपा ने ट्रांसजेंडर साथियों को भी अब आयुष्मान भारत योजना के दायरे में लाने का निर्णय लिया है। बहनों बेटियों के बेहतर स्वास्थ्य के अपने मिशन को आगे बढ़ाते हुए अब हम सर्वाइकल कैंसर से मुक्ति के लिए अभियान चलाएंगे। साथियों, हम गांव की पूरी अर्थव्यवस्था को संपूर्णता में देखते हैं, इसलिए खेती हो, पशुपालन हो, फिशरीज हो, सबको सशक्त कर रहे हैं। ये भाजपा ही है जो किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड के दायरे में हमारे पशुपालक भाई बहनों को, हमारे मछुआरे भाई बहनों को जोड़ा है। पीएम किसान सम्मान निधि का लाभ भी देश के 10 करोड़ किसानों को आगे भी जारी रहेगा।
In just a decade, India has transformed into a digital powerhouse. From classrooms to clinics, farms to finance, digitalization is revolutionizing every aspect of life. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
The city of Nizams is excited to witness one of the biggest political clashes. It's BJP versus AIMIM in Hyderabad. BJP's Madhvi Lata, a BJP debutant, is up against AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi, a 4-time MP. The battle this time is that of ideologies. A prominent Hindutva figure, she has actively campaigned against regressive practices such as triple talaq and fought for the rights of Muslim women. This is something that Owaisi has time and again challenged. When the triple talaq was scrapped in 2019, Owaisi opposed the centre's move. That is not all. Owaisi also questioned the Citizenship Amendment Act.
बीजेपी ने CAA का अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल कानून बनाया है और रिलीजन की बुनियाद पर बनाया गया है जो राइट टू इक्वालिटी के खिलाफ है और इसीलिए मैंने उस कानून के बिल को पार्लियामेंट में पढ़ा था और हम उस वक्त भी खिलाफ थे, आज भी और कल भी रहेंगे।
Madhvi Lata slammed him over his views.
First, Asaduddin ji needs to explain what is CAA according to him is and what CAA according to the existing central government's definition. Unfortunately, every time Asad ji wanted to manipulate the law,
हमारे देश में टूरिज्म का जो पोटेंशियल है उसे भी अनलॉक किया जाना बाकी है। भाजपा द्वारा विश्व प्रवासी ग्लोबल टूरिस्ट को हमारी विरासत से जोड़ा जाएगा और इस विरासत को हम वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज के साथ जोड़ेंगे। वन उपज आधारित स्टार्टअप्स और स्वयं सहायता समूहों को भी बढ़ावा दिया जाएगा। 700 से ज्यादा एकलव्य स्कूलों के निर्माण के लक्ष्य को भी जल्द से जल्द प्राप्त किया जाएगा। साथियों, भाजपा विकास भी और विरासत भी उस मंत्र में विश्वास करती है। हम पूरी दुनिया में संत तिरुवल्लुवर कल्चरल सेंटर्स का निर्माण करेंगे। दुनिया की सबसे पुरानी भाषा तमिल, ये इस देश का गौरव है, हमारा गौरव है। तमिल भाषा की वैश्विक प्रतिष्ठा बढ़ाने के लिए भाजपा हर प्रकार के नए उपक्रम शुरू करेगी, प्रयास करेगी। साथियों, 21वीं सदी के भारत की बुनियाद भाजपा 3 तरह के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर से मजबूत करने जा रही है। पहला है सोशल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, दूसरा है डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, तीसरा है फिजिकल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर।
In just a decade, India has transformed into a digital powerhouse. From classrooms to clinics, farms to finance, digitalization is revolutionizing every aspect of life. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
Good evening and welcome, viewers. The BJP says that the fact that the bombers behind the Bengaluru blast in the Rameshwaram cafe were the fact that they were found in Bengal today proves that Bengal under Mamata Banerjee is a safe haven for terrorists. Big charge to make, and that might not be entirely correct. But will Mamata Banerjee be bold enough to accept that Islamist terrorism is a threat to the entire world and to India? Would secularities like Mamata Banerjee and the Vadra Congress government in Karnataka both accept that it was a terrible mistake to downplay the Rameshwaram cafe blast as a result of a possible feud between business rivals, rather than what it was, a terrorist incident, a terrorist attack? Would Mamata Banerjee and secularities and pseudo-secularities like the Congress and all these other secularities in the India Alliance accept that they are uncomfortable even acknowledging radicalized Islamist terrorism as a reality because of their own vote bank reasons? And that this is the reason why terrorists feel more safe in some states of India today than in others. In some states, they know there is a bulldozer approach. I'm sure the bulldozer approach
भाजपा देश के कोने कोने में वंदे भारत ट्रेनों का भी विस्तार करेगी। देश में वंदे भारत के 3 मॉडल चला करेंगे। वंदे भारत स्लीपर, वंदे भारत चेयर कार और वंदे भारत मेट्रो। इस 3 प्रकार से हम इसको करेंगे। आज जैसे पश्चिम हिस्से में एक बुलेट ट्रेन काम करने जा रही है, अब भाजपा का संकल्प है आने वाले समय में उत्तर, दक्षिण, पूर्व, पश्चिम चारों दिशाओं में एक बुलेट ट्रेन के प्रोजेक्ट से हम आधुनिकता की तरफ जाने को गति देंगे।
In just a decade, India has transformed into a digital powerhouse. From classrooms to clinics, farms to finance, digitalization is revolutionizing every aspect of life. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
As the geopolitical scenario evolves ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, Difu prepares for another fiery contest. Difu constituency holds strategic importance in the social, economic and geopolitical landscape of the region. This time, the Congress has nominated Joy Ram Englang, a prominent local figure, as the candidate for the upcoming elections. In contrast, the Bharatiya Janata Party has nominated Amar Singh as its candidate for the Difu Lok Sabha constituency. Difu in Assam is one of the largest constituency in terms of geographical area, encompassing 8.90 lakh voters. The constituency has undergone significant transformation in the last 5 years. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Most popular cafes in Bengaluru on the 1st of March. India's top anti-terror agency, NIA, was roped in to lead the hunt for the terrorists who had orchestrated the attack. And now, within 45 days, the agency has busted the vicious ISIS terror nexus and the terrorist trio responsible for the devastation. Terrorist Musawir Hussain Shazib, who had placed the bomb at the cafe, and Abdul Mateen Taha, the mastermind of the blast, were arrested from Bengal. As per sources, the two men had been living in West Bengal for 3 weeks, checking into small hotels and living under aliases before the central agency zeroed in on them. The two arrested terrorists were produced at an NIA court, which granted a 3-day transit remand, following which they were brought back to Bengaluru. Republic also managed to access CCTV footage from the hotels where the two accused were staying in. The two terrorists, who claimed they were from Maharashtra, had moved from hotel to hotel in different parts to avoid suspicion. They had also presented different fake Aadhaar cards at each hotel they were in.
मुगल यहाँ आक्रमण करते थे ना, जब तक मंदिर तोड़ते नहीं उनको संतोष नहीं होता था। वैसे ही सावन के महीने में वीडियो दिखाकर वो देश के लोगों को चिढ़ाना चाहते हैं। अब इस मंशा से वीडियो दिखा करके इसको खुश करने का खेल कर रहे हो। ये इनकी मुगलिया सोच है, लेकिन ये लोग नहीं जानते जनता जब जवाब देती है तो बड़े बड़े शाही खानदार के युवराजों को बेदखल होना पड़ता है।
Very good afternoon and thank you for tuning in. You're watching Live and Breaking at 12. I'm Suesha Samant. We get you the latest on the Iran-Israel conflict in this edition. First up, a quick check of the headlines we're tracking.
वन नेशन, वन इलेक्शन के विचार को भी साकार करने का संकल्प लेकर के आगे बढ़ेंगे।
BJP's poll manifesto out. Big focus on UCC implementation, one nation, one poll, and upliftment of women.
युवा शक्ति, नारी शक्ति, गरीब, किसान, इन सभी को सशक्त करता है।
Prime Minister Modi releases BJP's Lok Sabha poll manifesto with special focus on poor, youth, farmers and women. Iran mounts aerial attack on Israel with drones, missiles in retaliation to the attack on an Iranian consulate building in Damascus.
विश्व में अनिश्चितता के बादल छाए हुए, युद्ध की स्थिति बनी हुई है। संकट के ऐसे समय में इन क्षेत्रों में रह रहे भारतीयों की सुरक्षा ये हमारी प्राथमिकता है।
Prime Minister Modi issues statement as Middle East conflict rises, says security of Indians is top priority. Iran, in a letter to the United Nations, emphasizes that it will not hesitate to exercise its inherent right of self-defense when required. An Israeli Prime Minister says Benjamin Netanyahu ready to respond. US moves troops to the Middle East. Non-stop rolling coverage in this edition as we get you the latest on the Iran-Israel conflict and what it means for India. Also joining me in the studio is Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor. Before we cut across to get you the situation on the ground, I'd also like to introduce our panelists of guests. Alex Gandler, Deputy Spokesperson, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Major General R.K. Sinha, who's a defense expert. He joins us on the broadcast. Also with us is Major Gaurav Arya. We also have ground coverage where Lav will be joining us from Israel and Yeshaya from Jerusalem. But before we go across to all of them, let's tell you what is happening. The Israel war on Hamas is on the edge of exploding into a wider conflict with a likely Iranian retaliation over a suspected Israeli strike earlier this month on an Iranian consulate building in Syria that claimed the lives of 12 people, including a senior guard general who once commanded its expeditionary Quds force there. As the Middle East braces for the attack and what happened on the ground, let's take a look at this report.
Tensions in the Middle East have escalated. Air raid sirens resonated in Israel after Iran launched dozens of drones and ballistic missiles towards region in and around Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. The attack marks the first time Iran has launched a direct military assault on Israel. Israeli forces have informed that more than 200 missiles were fired, most of which was intercepted.
Iran has launched a direct attack from Iranian soil towards the state of Israel. We are closely monitoring Iranian killer drones that are en route to Israel sent by Iran. This is a severe and dangerous escalation. Our defensive and offensive capabilities are at the highest level of readiness ahead of this large-scale attack from Iran. Together with our partners, the Israel Defense Forces is operating at full force to defend the state of Israel and the people of Israel. This is a mission that we are determined and ready to fulfill.
As Iran fired missiles and drones toward Israel, watch how IDF assessed the situation from the Kiryat military headquarters to plan its response action. Meanwhile, India has called for an immediate de-escalation of hostilities between the two states.
आज विश्व में अनिश्चितता के बादल छाए हुए हैं, युद्ध की स्थिति बनी हुई है, तनावपूर्ण है पूरा विश्व। संकट के ऐसे समय में इन क्षेत्रों में रह रहे भारतीयों की सुरक्षा ये हमारी प्राथमिकता है। भारत विश्व बंधु के तौर पर मानवता के कल्याण के लिए निरंतर प्रयासरत रहेगा.
Other Western powers such as the US and the UK have extended their support to Israel. In the backdrop of the ongoing war in Gaza, will the Israel-Iran offensive propel a turning point to the Middle East crisis? Agency Report, Republic TV.
All right, so first up, I want to cut across to Yeshaya, who's joining us from Israel to give us a sense of what the situation is like on the ground. As Netanyahu has said, we are completely prepared and we were expecting this. Tell us what it is.
Shalom, good morning. Here from the National Precinct of Jerusalem. So a bit before 12:30 last night, air raid sirens were heard here in Jerusalem. The statistics at the end of the night were that 185 drones and 36 cruise missiles and 110 ballistic missiles were launched from Iran, 99% of which were intercepted, mostly outside of Israel's aerial space, over Jordan, Iraq, and other countries. Missiles and debris fell as far away as Amman, Jordan, and Erbil in Iraqi Kurdistan. The missiles were intercepted by the David Sling and Iron Dome systems, and the ballistic missiles by the Chets, the Arrow 3 ballistic missile anti-missile system. This was deemed a great victory, a really peak performance for the MEAD, M-E-A-D, the Middle Eastern Air Defense System, which was signed between Israel and neighboring countries after the Abraham Accords by our Defense Minister Gantz. All in all, I would say on the ground now, it's a nervous quiet. It's unclear how things will develop from here. The American news site Axios reported that President Biden told Prime Minister Netanyahu that the USA will not support an Israeli attack on Iran. So it's unclear how things will develop, since an escalation is expected, an Israeli retaliatory strike. But it's unclear how it will happen. It will happen, as is what President Biden said. He has convened the G7 for a united diplomatic response to Iran's brazen attacks. So we have to see how this develops from here.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeshaya, do stay on with us, as I'd also like to cut across to Major General K.K. Sinha. In fact, he's with us in the studio. So how would you describe the ongoing situation, and how high is the risk of conflict between Iran and Israel?
Thank you. See, what we see in the last 6 months, the way things are unfolding in West Asia, especially into the trans-Mediterranean Red Sea area and the Persian Gulf, that we have to understand strategically and why it is happening and why it has gone to a situation like this and why it happened on 1st of April when Damascus, the consulate of Iran was hit. See, now one thing is very clear. Israel wants unilaterally that anyone who is doing and playing the game with proxy should not happen. It should come in open. It was they have done it with an aim, with a design. When in a design, if someone is doing with the proxy, you want to draw him in, absolutely one-to-one, then you have to make him retaliate, and they have able to get retaliations, and it is because Iran is also very scared. They have been pulled, they have been sucked in this operation, they wanted to avoid it. And exactly what we are seeing that. It was not when it is going to attack, whether it is going to attack, but when. And when, they have lost the surprise. The surprise is intentionally lost by Iran. They have been saying that they will come after the Eid, they will retaliate after the Eid, and they are definitely going to come. They have been showing that they are getting deployed. And timing, if you see, 1:54 a.m., just after on Sunday, that is the date which was given, and they have hit. Why they have done this? Because they were compelled to do it, because the proxies are also asking, the doubts are there. Though Israel doesn't want, to be shown as a winner. But today in West Asia, in my judgment, my assessment says, Israel is going to hit Iran nuclear facility because 6 months are there only now left in there. The period is there by 6 months. But enrichment has gone to 60%, and they say within the 6 months they will have the nuke. And there is a tacit support of the West, especially the United States of America. Because what you will see the retaliation now, they will try to hit it. They have gone underground. Iran has gone absolutely underground. They will able to take it out with their, the missiles, which they are going to hit with their air force. But you will see Israel did the same thing with Iraq when they were going to nuclear. We have forgotten it has, they have unilaterally gone and hit and never allowed that time Iraq to go nuclear. They will never allow Iran to go nuclear. It is a matter of time. You will see whether it escalates, they don't care. And this is also for the existence of Israel to behave like this and go this way. People talk about Netanyahu, whether Netanyahu. Gallant is opposition leader. The war cabinet is on. The whole Israelis, have got a aim, and today if they have to survive, they have to go this way.
Just, if you're suggesting that there is no surprise, then by a natural corollary, this is not an attack. This is more like a demo exercise, demonstration that, okay, fine, you hit us, we can hit you. And then, most importantly, after the attacks, Iran made a statement at the United Nations through their permanent representative, saying that we have demonstrated, we have shown that we can respond. The matter should be considered as concluded. Yeah. We will hit back if Israel responds to this via an escalatory matrix. So should we believe that things are going to come down now, or you think that this is a tinderbox situation, it can still go out of hand?
Abhishek, you are very correct, and what I said that Iran has been pulled in. And Iran has been pulled in, and that's why they say it is concluded. As for their side, they have concluded this by this strike. Initially, it was coming out about 200 odd, whether it's a mix of short-range surface-to-surface missile. It has got a cruise missile, 36 of them, 110 of that surface-to-surface missile. There were drones, one-way drones. Now the reports are coming, it was 330 odd. What you said, the timing, they have come and they have not maintained the surprise. They never wanted to hit anything because the retaliation, they have given a window that, Israel may force, America may force, maybe the West will force not to retaliate. But I am very sure the Israelis, especially Netanyahu and Gallant, they want that it will escalate. It just can't be a proxy. They are able to put it down, the Hamas. But Hezbollah and Houthi is being taken care of by the coalitions of everyone in the Red Sea area. But directly they have to go. Otherwise, 6 months time, down the time, you will see if they go nuclear, because enrichment is already 60%, 90% they say, but within 6 months, the reports are there with Americans also, that Iran will go nuclear. If they will go nuclear, they will become much more dangerous and they will become much more active in these areas. West Asia will be totally disturbed.
Let's try to understand from Yeshaya. Yeshaya, there has been a de-escalatory messaging coming in from Iran. After the UN statement, there is a general of the Iranian armed forces and Major General Bagheri. He has in fact come out and given a public soundbite suggesting that so far as we are concerned, we wanted to demonstrate that we can hit back and the operation is concluded so far as we are concerned. Do you think that Israel would believe this position of Iran, that there is not going to be any further action and hence we are looking at the possibility of de-escalation, or you think on the ground there from Jerusalem, what's the view? Is Israel going to escalate it further, respond in any manner to the attack by Iran?
Yes, so I don't think anyone is buying this merchandise at the Iranian bazaar. It doesn't actually matter whether Iran wants to de-escalate or not. Once you shoot 300 missiles into Israel, it is widely understood in the international community that we have the right to respond. The question that I'm asking myself is what the Israeli objectives will be. I don't think realistically we can topple the regime simply by shooting missiles at them. As your expert said, there is an objective of taking out their nuclear capabilities And of course, Iran's most powerful proxy, Hezbollah in Lebanon, even though we have killed 300 of their soldiers, including senior commanders in the Radwan forces, but their capabilities, their hundreds of thousands of missiles, are largely intact. So Iran can operate with their, probably will operate with their proxies, only a matter of when. And the question is what the Israeli objectives are, how Prime Minister Netanyahu and his war cabinet define our objectives vis-a-vis Iran.
Okay, but you see, Yeshaya, also, if you look at the statement coming in from President Biden, forget about the recent past 1 week where the Biden administration has repeatedly expressed its frustration with the Netanyahu government or Prime Minister Netanyahu specifically. Even the Biden statement tonight, according to American time, has de-escalation built into it. It is actually saying or suggesting that Israel has also made a point by failing or making sure that the attack by Iran fails. All the targets, all the missiles and drones coming in have been made ineffectual. They were hit in air, mid-air, and the Israeli air defense system has demonstrated that it is taking good care of the Israeli territory and the Israeli citizens. So I think if both the sides can say that, okay, fine, we have made our point, move on, you think moving on is happening, or on the ground you're getting a sense that Israel actually might respond still?
No, so I think, first of all, it was not clear until it actually happened that the air defense system would knock down 99% of the missiles. So the fact that the United States assisted us in building this air defense system, part of it is operated from Nevada military bases. That was, of course, assistance we got to the United States. But on the other hand, we can't, the notion here in Israel is that we can't sit here like sitting ducks, passively waiting for more and more attacks to come. If Iran has attacked us, the notion is that it is now legitimate for us to retaliate and take out our capabilities. The question is how we define our objectives. But I don't think that Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Biden see things here eye to eye on what our response should be.
Jesse, let's get the official view.
All right, Yeshaya, do stay on with us, as I'd also like to introduce Mr. Alex Ganler. He's the Deputy Spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and he's with us on the broadcast, Abhishek. Alex, firstly, your view on the current situation, and how do you see it coming together in the days to come?
Well, everyone in Israel woke up this morning after losing a few hours of sleep last night. This is the big gain that Iran has had, waking people in the middle of the night in Israel. People woke up to sirens. Me, myself, I live in Jerusalem. I woke up to sirens at about 2 a.m., looked up to the sky and saw our interceptors intercepting Iranian ballistic missiles and drones. The situation at the moment is that Iran has attacked Israel directly with more than 300 missiles, drones, and Israel is ready to defend itself together with a coalition of countries that was present yesterday on the skies above the Middle East, intercepting rockets and missiles fired from Iran. Iran is a maleficent force operating in the region. They have shown their card yesterday that they are ready to attack other sovereign nations from their territory with ballistic means. This is something that we're considering at the moment in order to see what kind of response we will have.
Okay, Mr. Ganler, then in which case are we looking at the possibility of any further escalation?
I wouldn't comment on regarding escalation per se. I would say that Israel says this very heavily. The fact that Iran attacked from its territory towards the territory of the state of Israel. You can see now above Jerusalem, you saw missiles firing at Israel all across the country. Unfortunately, luckily we only have only one person that was injured, a 10-year-old girl, a Bedouin girl who was injured in the south. We have a very robust air defense system. This is what made this strike ineffective, not the fact that Iran tried to make this a strike restraint. The fact that Israel was able to deflect the strike is the only reason that Iran is currently not attacked.
Mr. Gandler, can you give us some specifics for the benefit of our viewers? How many missiles, drones, projectiles came the way of Israel? How many of them were actually immobilized or hit in midair? And if at all, what kind of damage has happened to the Israeli territory by these strikes?
Yeah, so more than 300 missiles, rockets, and drones have been fired towards Israel. I don't have the specific numbers, but around 100 of each, if we're talking about low-flying missiles, high-flying ballistic missiles, and slow drones, about 100 to 150 each. The damage is minimal. There was some damage done to an air base in the south of Israel, very minimal damage. The base is completely operational. We had some debris fall down from those very large missiles and rockets that were fired. The rockets themselves, they're fired for 1,600 kilometers. So you can imagine it is a very big rocket that has a very big payload and a big fuel tank in order to reach Israel. So debris from those rockets that were intercepted by our different layered defense system fell on some of Israel's areas. That is how one of the only casualty of the strike, this little 10-year-old girl, was injured. A part of an Iranian missile fell on her house. The damage is minimal. The damage is minimal, but it is minimal because we made it minimal, because we have the multi-layered defense system, because we have a coalition of allies helping us, because countries understand that Iran's position at the moment, attacking a sovereign country from its own territory, is unacceptable. Iran has made a grave mistake, and Iran will have to pay the price for it.
All right, Mr. Gandler, also viewers in India would want to understand how big is the conflagration. So, for example, when Iran carried out those strikes and launched those projectiles, did they launch from their own territory alone, from the Iranian territory, or did they use bases present with their ally nations like Syria and Lebanon? And also, when you say that there is a coalition of allies supporting Israel also, when you responded, which other nations participated in Israel's military response?
So Iran struck Israel from its own territory. Most of the rockets, missiles, and drones came from Iran itself. Different cities in Iran, they admitted it themselves. They have shown pictures in their news, in their official news, showing the missiles coming from Iran. We also had some involvement from the Houthis in Yemen and a few barrages of short-range rockets fired from Lebanon at around midnight, but that was prior to the missiles from Iran coming into Israel. Regarding the coalition, I can tell you that the United States, together with other Western nations, Britain and France, and together with several Middle Eastern countries, which I will not name, have been part of this. There is a greater understanding around the Middle East that Iran is a force that is acting in order to destabilize. Many nations, mostly the Sunni nations around Israel, understand that Iran's encroachment on our area will lead to Lebanonization. What we can see in Lebanon at the moment, where Hezbollah is controlling the population, controlling the money flow, and that country has completely been destroyed by that involvement of Hezbollah. Iran is a power that is trying to ruin the Middle East in a way. It is trying to curtail the hopes and aspirations of people in the Middle East. And there are many partners around the area that are willing to lend a hand and help, and also be part of a coalition to step up to Iran.
All right. So before we let you go, one final question, Mr. Gandler. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, what's Israeli position going to be after the de-escalatory messaging that has come from Iran?
Well, I didn't see a de-escalation message coming from Iran after attacking another country with more than 300 missiles and drones. Saying, well, I think we've had enough is not enough. Israel has the right to defend itself. Israel has a right to defend itself not only from the missiles that are shot at her, but also from the missiles that might be shot at her in the future. So this is the first step. This is an historical event. Iran has never attacked Israel from its own territory. It has used proxies for many years. It is part of Iran's strategic way of action to attack using proxies. And as you can see, they created this cycle around Israel using Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Hezbollah in Syria. They are now trying to do something in Jordan. They have Hezbollah al-Tahrir in Iraq and the Houthis in Yemen. Iran has thrown its tentacles all over the Middle East in order to destabilize it. So de-escalation is something that is far from what Iran is trying to do. It might be good for Western ears to hear. Yes, I think we're done. This is it. We just attacked with 300 missiles and rockets, and this is it. Unfortunately, this opens the way to further attacks and further de-escalation. What we need to do is to stand up to that attack. We need to stand up to that force and make Iran understand that it cannot attack sovereign countries in this region.
So, Mr. Gandler, you are actually not ruling out the possibility of Israeli counter-attack to make its position more clear?
At the moment, I wouldn't rule out anything.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Gandler, for joining us, giving the Israeli perspective on the Iranian strikes that panned out over the last night, flying over 1,000 kilometers, 300 plus projectiles, including missiles and drones, targeting Israeli sites, most of them neutralized by the Israeli air defense, supported by other nations like the United States and United Kingdom. Let's continue the conversation. I'm told Major Gaurav Arya is with us now. We have spoken to Yeshaya and General Sinha earlier. Major Gaurav Arya, if you are patched and if you are able to hear me, what's your sense? Are we looking at, in response to Iranian strikes on Israel, are we looking at the possibility of this becoming a wider conflagration, or you think that this might not go that early?
Abhishek, thank you for having me on your show. I'll start off by saying that it looks like horizontal escalation is on the cards. And so when they hit that embassy in Damascus, when Israel hit that embassy in Damascus, taking out Republican Guard generals and other personnel of the Republican Guards, Israel was actually trying to cut off the head of the snake. Now, who is behind Hezbollah? It seems that one of the generals who was killed in that airstrike is actually on the Shura Council of the Hezbollah. So you have the Hezbollah being led by Iranian generals. That relationship is that clear, Abhishek. I mean, there is no doubt in my mind, absolutely, and nobody's mind, that Hamas is a baby of the Iranian regime. The Houthis, the Hezbollahs, everybody. So what, that Israeli government spokesperson had said, they have spread their web and their tentacles all around the Middle East, and they try to control through proxies. What Israel did was Israel responded to Iran, and Israel has been telling the United States of America and other countries that you need to hit Iran if you want to control the Middle East, because these problems are created by Iran. But unfortunately, America was trying to talk, America was trying to reason with the Iranians. It does not work that way. I'm absolutely with the Israelis in this. They need to hit harder, and I'm sure they will. And they need to hit mainland Iran. Hitting Hezbollah and Hamas will not work any longer. Where
does it end? Where does it end, Major Arya? Then, I mean, if Israelis hit Iranian territory directly, as you suggest or hope, then in that case we are looking at clearly a position where there would be World War III.
No, there is no World War III. This is just a creation of the media. There is no World War III. And this is what Iran will have you believe. This is what many countries in the Middle East would have you believe, that there is going to be World War III. World War III did not start when Iran bombed Israel. Why will World War III start when Israel bombs Iran? I mean, I don't understand that. There is nothing to suggest that there is World War III happening. Yes, it will.
The reason why I say so is...
No doubt, it will horizontally escalate. But World War III is a very big thing. It's not going to happen. And if Israel does not attack Iran, there is no peace for Israel. The only hope for everlasting peace for Israel, and I'm being very blunt about it, Abhishek, the only hope for everlasting peace in Israel is to topple that crazy lunatic regime in Iran. Those mad mullahs in Iran, they need to be toppled. Iran is a beautiful country. I support Iran, lovely people, very old culture, but they are led by a bunch of lunatics, and those lunatics must go.
Okay, let me take this to General Sinha before I go to Yeshaya. General Sinha, Major Arya says that no, this might not lead to World War III, but the reason why I posit that is that Iran used territories like that of Syria and Lebanon and some of its bases in Iraq, though substantial bit of the strikes came from Iranian territory itself. But if Israel hits back, and the defense of Israel came in not just by Israel, but also by the United States, using some bases, for example, in the Middle East that they have in the friendly nations. They are not being named, but we are told that possibility of Saudi Arabia and Jordan providing some military assistance cannot be ruled out. Maybe they allowed their territory to be used to neutralize those projectiles coming in from Iranian territory. Now, if Israel hits Iran directly, then in that case, and if Iran, of course, as they have said in their right to self-defense, they would respond, then you are already looking at Middle East so fractured into two blocks, and then those two blocks joining in. It's an escalatory spiral. Where does it end? Obviously, it ends at a full-blown war.
Abhishek, I will go for that. There is no third world war. That you take it. There is no third war. This is only hype, because the world is churning. World is getting into multipolarity. In multipolarity, a pole has come up. Russia is a pole now. You have to understand this. In Middle East, you have to understand a pole which the people wants that to believe that Iran will become a pole. Iran can't become a pole by proxies. Similarly, in Indo-Pacific, if you see the North Korea, it has gone nuclear. Iran, Iraq, as far as Israel is concerned, it is a nuclear state. Now people estimate that it has got 80 to 400 odd nuclear. See, when the Iran is inspiring to become, by proxy, by hard power. Hard power is what? Hard power, they have got hard power, but they do not have that capability to hit everyone. If you want to say in West Asia, Iran is the power, where the people were going to concentrate in that and depend on that, other than Turkey, because Turkey, as on today, have given a support that they will going to. See, in this strike, Jordan openly supported. Jordan has fired. Jordan Air Force, they have scrambled. They have put the missiles down. UK has come up. It is basically in West Asia a power which is trying to become an hegemonic power by design. What Gaurav was saying, and I go with him. Israel, today, Ayatollah Khomeini, 1979, what happened? That time, if you see, that time also it was the same embassy war. American embassy was, and after that, the way they have come up till date today, Iran can't be allowed to go in a lunatic way. They can't do with the proxy. What is their proxy? Do you think that any country in West Asia is with Iran? Other than this proxies, other than Hezbollah, Hamas has gone down. Hamas militarily is not existing. Houthi is being taken by coalition. Houthi will also, you will see after some time, because these are Shiite. The same thing Hezbollah. Hezbollah, if you go back to 96 war, that 34 days war, complete Lebanon, which was a Christian country, basically has gone a Muslim country in the Shiite hand. And I can tell you, the way the Israel, and I can read the battle, Israel is making sure that Iran retaliates, and Iran has done this mistake. It is a big mistake by Iran. this is the end of Iran's desire to go nuclear.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Let me also introduce Lev, who's a senior journalist. He's joining us from Israel. Lev, to really get a wider perspective on the ongoing situation. Given the kind of statements that have come in from your top leadership, is this attack going to be only retaliatory in nature, or will it be an all-out offensive? And I also want to understand from you how the people in your country responding to the kind of statements that are coming in from the top leadership, because they make it amply clear that if you attack us, we go out to attack you. Do the people also resonate with that message completely?
Okay, thank you for inviting me. I think that in a way most Israelis are relieved today, because I think at least most of us, we thought that if Iran attacks us directly, the death toll will be much higher. I think we were all sure, okay, with all our defense capabilities. And also, I think there is some kind of a failure feeling, because Iran decided to attack because they believed it was crystal clear for them that that Biden will push Israel not to give a fight back. Iran was sure that oil prices and the elections in US and UK will force Americans to tell Israel, be quiet. And in a way, we have a precedent about it. If we take 30 years back in the first Gulf War and Saddam Hussein, also then the Republican president, he told Isaac Shamir, our prime minister, you be quiet, even if Tel Aviv is bombed and Jerusalem and all the center of Israel. So in a way, it is a big question. If Israel attacks back, it seems like we have no other choice. But on the other hand, we also have no other choice but to bank on Americans. So our situation is not that simple, even after our defense capabilities became so evident and successful.
Okay, Lev, my question is that if the Israeli official position is that the Iranian strikes were successfully repulsed, 100% repulsed, there is just some minor damage in one airbase in southern Israel, and that otherwise, if you look at the strikes, the Iranian couldn't do much. So in that case, I think there is enough face saver for Iran and Israel to move on. It's not that Israel has no option but to retaliate. You can actually, if you look at it, going by the manner in which your air defenses have neutralized the Iranian strike, I don't know if I could use a tennis analogy, it's love all. You carried out a strike at Iranian embassy or consulate in Syria, in Damascus, and Iranians have responded, and it should be over.
Look, Israel is a sovereign state. It means that we have a choice. We can attack back, and we can decide not to do it. So, of course, we have a choice. I think the tragedy is that Iran was banking on such an approach. Iran was banking on a perspective, on a paradigm that says, look, you made this and this to Iran, they made this and this to you. The damage on both sides is still very limited. Let's stop and move on. And in this sense, I'm not sure that if we adopt this approach, it will be good for us and also for other Sunni pro-American states in West Asia. I'm not sure it will, the merits will be larger than the demerits. I'm not sure at all.
All right, go.
Right. Major Gaurav Arya, I quickly want to come to you on the point that Lev has made, because like he says that our situation is not easy. Of course, undeterred support from the US that continues. And while they vouch for their defense capabilities again and again, how do you pit the Iranian army versus the Israeli forces and the kind of support they have? How do you see this panning out in the days to come on the military level?
So, he's on the screen. He's decades my senior. And he will tell you that we have studied the Israeli army. We have studied about General Moshe Dayan. We have studied the 5-day war. We have studied the Yom Kippur war in the Indian army. We have studied all of that. And army to army, I think the Israeli army is far, far superior to what the Iranians have. Number one. That is one thing I would like to tell you. They have much more to fight for. So technologically, Israel is superior. Man-to-man, Israel is superior. And Israel motivationally is far superior than Iran. What does Iran have to do? Let us assume for a second, though it is totally wrong. Hypothetically, let us assume that Israel has occupied Palestine. For example, let us assume. What is Iran's problem in this? This is nothing. This whole war is nothing. This two-state solution is nonsense. It is utter nonsense. This is basically an old war going on between the Muslim states and Judaism. They hate the Jews. When they say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, they are taking away Israel's right to exist. That is the main problem. There is no other problem. All this thing that Iran has attacked Israel, Israel will attack Iran, all this is part two. Part one is, this is more than geopolitical, it is a religious war. They do not want Israel to exist. And that is the problem. In 2005, Israel had moved away from all the territories. Israel had spent $3 billion. The Israeli army forced the Israeli settlers to leave Gaza. They gave everything back. They said, this is Palestine, you take care of your country, we take care of your country. You should go and read the Peel Commission report. Israel bent over backwards to accommodate the Palestinians. They did everything, right? And the net result was October 7th. And October 7th, I hope, I don't want to say this. These are cruel words. But if you do not put Iran in its place, October 7th will happen again and again. Because the core is hatred against the Jews. It has nothing to do with Palestine or Gaza or West Bank. This is all garnishing on the food. They hate the Israelis. That is the problem. And number two, I want to tell you one more thing. You see, Israel needs to hit back Iran. It needs to hit Iranian soil. And unless Israel hits Iranian soil, they will not cut off the head of the snake. Because you can keep killing Hamas and Hezbollah for the next 20 years. It will not matter. They will simply hire more people. But who's instigating all this? It is being instigated by Iran. It is being instigated by the Islamic Republican Guard Corps, the IRGC. That is the head of the snake, and that is exactly why Israel launched that strike in Damascus when they hit their embassy. They took out those generals. This is exactly why, because Iran is the head of the snake. It is not Hamas. It is not Hezbollah. It is not the Houthis. It is Iran.
Right. And Yeshaya, I want to come back to you as we are also on the verge of, coming to a closer end of this bulletin. Yeshaya, in terms of the extent of damage already so far, with the forces already battling Hamas, and now with what has happened against Iran, and you say again and again that yes, we are ready, and that is the message coming in from Netanyahu. But how is it that you're preparing on every front, not just in terms of defense capabilities, but also to protect your people in every which way and ensure that you're saving lives, ensure that their basics do not take a hit?
I can only commend Major Arya. Everything he said was correct. The way, in the bigger strategic picture, the way it is seen here in Jerusalem is that there are two paths for the Muslim world. There's one of revolutionary, radical violence spearheaded by Iran and its proxies, which are destabilizing the entire Middle East, from Yemen, Lebanon, Syria, Africa, all over the place. And there is the path of reconciliation, of Mahadev, which is shared by the countries that signed on the Abraham Accords, UAE, Bahrain, even though Bahrain is still contesting Iran and its Shia minority, Morocco, and the other countries that were to join the Abraham Accords, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia. There was recent talk. So these are the two paths in front of the Middle East. I was in Delhi covering the G20 summit, and the IMEC corridor was announced, connecting India to Israel and Europe via Saudi Arabia and UAE. And I think it is a very good sign that India is on the right side, on the correct side of these affairs, joining up forces of peace and stability and prosperity. and hopefully, I think it will bring a dividend to India as well. I think just as radicalization is spread now by Iran, de-radicalization can be spread by the forces of moderation. Pakistan is a client state of Saudi Arabia and UAE, and hopefully the world peace can prevail. And that is the bigger picture. That is what we're looking at. We will obviously prevail over Hamas and Hezbollah, but in the long term, there's a greater strategic picture, civilizational picture, and I hope the forces of light will prevail there as well.
All right, Major General K.K. Sinha, just to take it from there, what is Iran's goal in all of this, and how ready are they to combat Israel in the days to come, because they have been wanting to erode US influence in the Middle East, and that has been a long-term goal. So even with the support that they have from their allies, how feasible is it?
See, you are asking Iran. See, we have to understand that Iran, especially there's Ayatollah Khomeini and hardliners, Qasem Soleimani was one. What they're trying to do it, first they have created, the proxies there, and the second thing, they want to go nuclear. With the power which they have got, and they have become a powerhouse as far as the drones are concerned, as far as the missile systems is concerned. They think that they will be able to dominate the complete West Asia. It is in the Arab world. There is a divide also, a Persian and Arab divide in the West Asia. There is also a divide where the America is concerned. This is the last time, you take it from me, which the West has got, or in the West Asia people have got to tame Iran. And directly, earlier they were trying, they were a nuclear scientist was eliminated. They were, eliminating all those journals. Even in Damascus, it happened. But I'm 100% sure Israel has taken and done this. Damascus, they wanted Iran to do this mistake. Iran has done this mistake, and I think to a certain extent, Iran is going down the drain. This is a mistake. They do not have much support.
Okay.
People, yeah.
General Sinha, just curious, because Major, coming to you, maybe for the last word, because we will wrap up at 12:50. Is the Middle East problem then a problem of the English language, or the English language alphabets specifically? If you remove the alphabet H, Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis, and then the Middle East problem is solved. Major?
No, you need to remove the alphabet I. Hezbollah and Houthis and Hamas is not such a big problem like Iran is. As I mentioned before, Iran is the head of the snake. You cut off the head of the snake and everybody else will die. That is the problem. Iran is the problem.
Okay.
Right. So, like we've been saying that we have to slip into a very short commercial break right now, but we'd like to thank our esteemed panelists who joined us on this broadcast to give us a better perspective of the ongoing situation between Iran and Israel. On that note, Abhishek, a quick commercial break, after which we'll be back.
In just a decade, India has transformed into a digital powerhouse. From classrooms to clinics, farms to finance, digitalization is revolutionizing every aspect of life. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
poker, card games, cricket, badminton, and tennis, and even extended to allowing bets on.
In a big move, Iran launched dozens of drones and missiles at Israel. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said that it had released the drones and missiles under the Operation True Promise, adding that the move was part of the punishment for Israeli crimes. Netanyahu convened Israel's war cabinet and military spokesperson Daniel Hagari, describing the attack as a severe and dangerous escalation. President Biden held an emergency national security meeting after Iran launched a drone attack on Israel. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said his country will continue to stand up for Israeli security. In its statement, UK Premier condemned in the strongest terms the Iranian regime's reckless attacks against Israel. In light of Iran's attack on Israel, UK has decided to deploy more Royal Air Force fighter jets in the Middle East to be ready to intercept missiles and drones. The statement noted that additional Royal Air Force aircraft and refueling aircraft were deployed as part of Operation Shader, aimed at combating the Israeli state group in Iraq and Syria.
Good evening and welcome, viewers. The BJP says that the fact that the bombers behind the Bengaluru blast in the Rameshwaram cafe were the fact that they were found in Bengal today proves that Bengal under Mamata Banerjee is a safe haven for terrorists. Big charge to make, and that might not be entirely correct. But will Mamata Banerjee be bold enough to accept that Islamist terrorism is a threat to the entire world and to India? Would secularities like Mamata Banerjee and the Vadra Congress government in Karnataka both accept that it was a terrible mistake to downplay the Rameshwaram cafe blast as a result of a possible feud between business rivals, rather than what it was, a terrorist incident, a terrorist attack? Would Mamata Banerjee and secularities and pseudo-secularities like the Congress and all these other secularities in the India Alliance accept that they are uncomfortable even acknowledging radicalized Islamist terrorism as a reality because of their own vote bank reasons? And that this is the reason why terrorists feel more safe in some states of India today than in others. In some states, they know there is a bulldozer approach. I'm sure the bulldozer approach, and you know which states I'm talking about. I'm sure the bulldozer approach does not make terrorists feel very comfortable there, so that after carrying out a blast, that is the first state that they go to. Ladies and gentlemen, in an election season, the incidents of today and the fact that the Rameshwaram cafe bombers, the terrorists, have been found in Bengal has a direct bearing on a necessary national debate around issues of
ये चुनाव सिर्फ सांसद चुनने भर का नहीं है, बल्कि ये देश में एक मजबूत सरकार बनाने का चुनाव है। और सरकार जब मजबूत होती है तो जमीन पर चुनौतियों के बीच भी काम करके दिखाती है।
The fight for Bengaluru rural is getting fierce. The constituency covers Kunigal, Rajarajeshwari Nagar, Bengaluru South, Anekal, Magadi, Ramanagaram, Kanakpura and Channapatna regions. DK Suresh of the Congress and CN Manjunath of the BJP will lock horns to stake claim over the constituency. In the 2019 election, DK Suresh won Bengaluru Rural, the only Lok Sabha seat that the Congress could secure in the city. The BJP swept the remaining 3 Lok Sabha seats from Bengaluru. Bengaluru Rural witnessed a 64.89% voter turnout in 2019, with the Congress-JDS alliance candidate DK Suresh retaining the seat with a margin of 2 lakh votes against BJP's Ashwath Narayana Gowda. Suresh secured 8.78 lakh votes. P. Chinnappa came third with 19,972 votes. Republic walked the campaign trail with BJP CN Manjunath.
Doctor, 38 years of service in the